3, 2, 1. All right. Well, hello, everybody. This is the first bi-weekly, not annual, I say bi-weekly FIU Film podcast. Today's topic is just going to be general Oscar news because that's the biggest news in film this week before we start getting into anything else. So let's just introduce you to our members of the podcast. You have me. My name is Forrest. Well, let me just tell you about a little bit about the kind of films that I like. I like my favorite directors up there: Strycharski, Kubrick. Composition, colors. That's what wins me. I think my favorite film though I'm gonna have to say La Dolce Vita before we start getting off. And
wow.
Now this yeah. A favorite of all, I have to say La Dolce Vita. I think that's the one that really gets like the cathartic response from me.
I was just thinking about like film soundtracks the other day and how Fellini like is not as on the radar these days as he once was, and I'm Andy Strycharski.
Well, this is the director.
Dr. Strycharski, director of the film studies program here at FIU. But it's just like especially those mid-period Fellini films like 8½and La Dolce Vita, just fantastic soundtracks. And La Dolce Vita especially was thinking about in the context of Cold War, because it's like the two best scenes of rock and roll music in film, I think, are the club scene in La Dolce Vita with Anita Ekberg and the satyr-like American expat. And also the scene with Bill Haley's "Rock Around the Clock" in Cold War. Anyway,
yeah. So now that you already know who Strycharski is,
what are your three favorite?
Yeah, what are your favorites first?
Oh, I don't know.
Just directors. If you don't have films,
Sergio Leone, Martin Scorsese, and
I always took you for John Ford.
I'm gonna say Antonioni just so that I can keep it all Italian. But
wow.
Yeah, I was gonna guess John Ford just because your examples in class. I was like, this guy likes westerns.
I do like John Ford. I like westerns. Yeah.
What is it about westerns?
I don't know how to put a finger on it, but it's like there was a period in my development and appreciation of film when westerns were, I was just grabbed by. I mean, I can remember especially Clint Eastwood's High Plains Drifter, and it was just like a western that I had never seen before, and I had this realization that wow, the western as a genre, there's like so much you can do with it, and it's just and there has been so much done with it, so that's
And now I'll introduce Akil. This is one of my best friends. Favorite very good. Movie buff. We talk about movies all the time, so we might as well sell out and put it on the air.
Hi, I'm Akil.
But is it really selling out if it's free?
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, public universities.
We're keeping it.
Where do I start first? Directors or movies?
Yeah. Whatever you want.
Like 3 favorite directors or 3 favorites?
Let's just give it all to us. What do you like? Let's see what you like.
I love Paul Thomas Anderson. That's my favorite director. Yeah. Park Chan-wook's a very close second. Probably tied for first, actually. After that, it's like just a jumble of Scorsese.
Yeah. A lot of those new hardcore Hollywood buffs.
I like violence in movies.
You know what I think it is? And if you didn't know, Akil is a writer. Just a little shout out. I think you just like really well written.
Yeah,
I think we all can, but specifically,
I like dialogue a lot.
I like that.
Yeah,
someone like Tarkovsky, there's minimal dialogue. And it's
I
really
like
tenuous,
silence. Yeah,
but I like the composition. To me, it's all camera.
Have either of you guys ever seen The Sacrifice?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I loved it. That's his
Okay.
last one.
Yeah, with Airline US Sun.
I mean, it's not like my most favorite, but the one before, Nostalgia,
Yeah.
my favorite.
I also recently really got into the Steve McQueen.
Yeah,
I love him.
I mean, he's proven to be quite the writer.
Yeah.
Also,
he's a really good
with
director.
Widows, which we're going to talk about.
I like Denis Villeneuve too. He's really good.
He's my favorite today.
He's probably after Park Chan Wook and Paul Thomas Anderson. He actually might have the third spot. Denis Villeneuve. I love sci-fi, and he does the good existential sci-fi like the
Yeah, no, his films are definitely.
yeah.
I always thought Arrival was like a profound experience
Yeah.
because of the way it comments on life. A lot of people either don't see it or disagree with me, but that's there.
Prisoners. I
like
love
that
Prisoners.
I
movie.
love
Yeah.
Arrival. I think it's just fantastically directed, and at the ending and the circles, and I think it's a beautiful.
Yeah,
movie.
I agree. Yeah.
Are we supposed to say our favorite movies too or no?
Yeah, say your
Okay.
favorites. Say whatever you want.
I'll throw out like 3.
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood. I love that movie so much. That was the first. That was like the first like I guess like art film you could say. I don't know if you consider it art film. Like
I think it counts.
Yeah.
more independent film like that I really liked, and I was like, oh, this is what this can be.
Wow.
And then I started getting into more films, older films and stuff like that. I love Harakiri, the Kobayashi film. I love that movie so much. What else?
If you're drawing on a blank.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, There Will Be Blood and Arakiri.
Yeah, I love those
Those are-
movies.
And then we have Daga. If you want to introduce yourself.
Dogger
Howdy.
the intern.
We can hear you from here. Yeah,
We are
Daga
all
the intern.
interns. Don't
We
say
are all.
that.
I was thinking about whether or not to do it.
But she is the intern.
Wow.
intern.
Wow. The violence against women. Oh, my kid. But yeah, my name's Daga. My favorite directors are Ingmar Bergman, hold him close and dear to my heart. Taught me a language. I'm really grateful
He's
to him.
definitely in my
There's
thoughts.
like a bunch of new Criterion Bergmans that have or are coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
He's in my tops because he's like one of those guys that when I was watching a movie, I was like, oh my god, he's talking about something that I understand. Like he's being like very personal.
And his actresses, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Ah,
And they're all beautiful.
some of the greatest actresses of all time. Like
Yeah,
in my
and
opinion.
some of the greatest actresses. of all
Yeah,
time.
I fucking love them.
Yeah.
So Bergman, Pedro Almodovar, and Juzo Itami would be my favorites, with an honorable mention to 1997 Spike Lee.
Boo.
Yeah. I know you have feelings
Nah,
about that, but you
pre-
have to watch it.
Is Malcolm X pre 97?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but okay, we talked about it. It's long, but it has some moments of poignancy.
No, all his films have
It's
moments
jumbled
of
as hell.
poignancy. All his films have a moment, except
Yeah.
maybe Old Boy. All his films-
I said pre 1997, so what is Old Boy? I don't know.
Yeah.
2013.
Exactly.
I don't know that.
2013.
What do you say?
Yeah.
There's a second and third Matrix.
Oh God.
What are you talking about? And then finally, or no, actually, you have favorite films.
Favorite films. Okay, so goddamn, All About My Mother. That's an Almodovar movie. It's a really good one, and it has Penelope Cruz because I like to watch anything with her in it because she's one of my favorite actresses too. Eve's Bayou, and Akira.
That's the first
Akira.
anime mention. How could we
Oh
forget
my
this?
god, I love that movie.
I love Akira.
I love.
Read it too. It's worth it. It's
Yeah.
long as hell, but it's worth it. 2,000 pages, but it's worth it.
And then we have Jose.
So I just introduced myself and
Yeah.
some favorite directors for your movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jose is probably one of the quieter ones here.
But he's
Okay.
profound.
He is.
So my name is Jose. Favorite top three directors in order is probably Scorsese number one, then Kubrick, and then David Fincher.
Yeah.
And then top three favorite movies probably Taxi Driver, Fight Club, and then Doctor Strangelove.
Dude, Doctor Strange.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi
Strangelove
Driver.
is the only Kubrick movie I like.
And I
Saga the Intern.
Okay, Force the Intern. Are we allowed to cuss on this?
Wait. This is a family friendly.
Oh, damn.
I was gonna ask
Also,
before we
I
started.
just wanted to mention that Jose has recently gotten an offer from USC. So he's going to be. So he's among his options for
Dr.
studying
Ramirez.
film in grad school will be
Check you
USC.
Hopefully, I will see you out there. Hopefully.
PhD
And-
That'd be really cool.
And Akil here is interviewing with Florida
was
State.
interviewing with Florida State, and has his applications out at a number of schools, including USC. So we all have our fingers crossed for him also. Yeah.
Claps. Yeah. So, how about the favorite films?
Favorite films?
Like of Scorsese. Oh yeah, you already mentioned
I like Scorsese. I guess
Taxi Driver and
Thank you,
Strange.
probably up to like Kings of Comedy, so like 80s
King of
Scorsese.
Comedy. That's one. See, that's the one that I always like to point out exists because it gets lost in
It
between
does get
Raging Bull
lost,
and
but it's
Goodfellas.
so good.
It's really good. And
Sandra Bernhardt's scene with Jerry Lewis, the dinner scene is like.
And
I think
Jerry
it's the
Lewis
funniest
is
thing
in the
I
movie.
think it's the funniest thing I've ever
I've never
watched.
seen it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people haven't watched it for
Yeah.
some
That
reason.
movie's underappreciated. Definitely.
Everything between Raging Bull and and Goodfellas
Mhm.
gets lost up in it.
Yeah.
Like Color of Money,
Yeah.
King of Comedy.
Yeah, well, Color of Money, I'm not going to complain about that getting lost.
I'm not
but,
crazy
yeah.
about it, but I think it's a good movie. And young Tom Cruise playing pool and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I hate Tom Cruise so much.
Me too. I don't like it.
He's a good
What?
actor.
Put
He's
some
not a good
respect.
He's a great
He's
actor.
not a good
Put
actor.
some respect
For
on
what?
Tom Cruise.
Put some respect
Give
on
a
his
reason
name.
why.
He does all his own stuff.
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Yes.
I mean, why? Why?
He was the star of that movie.
Okay, not really.
He showed how good of an actor he is.
I watched it for Julian Moore, and God rest his soul.
And you left
Philip
loving Tom
Seymour
Cruise.
Hoffman.
I know, man. He's a great
Mm.
actor.
Tom
Mm.
Cruise, who?
He was a phenomenal
Yeah, I actually
actor.
remember the day he died. I was in junior year of high school. My teacher was really sad.
I wasn't into
Yeah.
movies like knowing actors' names and directors' names. I didn't know until after he died. So when I got into Paul Thomas Anderson, I was like,
he had a very
whoa, I wanna see-
trustworthy face.
I want to see more
He
movies
was-
with this guy.
He was
He's dead.
born literally
Oh.
the day before me. So it's like his
Wow.
death was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's scary.
I was gonna make a Big Brother joke.
Mm.
We never got
There's
a
a connection.
we never got a Daniel Day-Lewis, Seymour Hoffman, Paul Thomas
That would have been a
Anderson.
tour de
That would've
force,
been
bro.
crazy.
That would have been
Crazy.
We never
because
got
Paul
that.
Thomas
Oh,
Anderson
so-
is just so good with his actors,
Which
too.
is why Tom
Oh,
Cruise was so good in that
that
movie.
would have just opened some sort of
You
gotta
portal
give that
up,
rift in
Tom
space-time
Cruise.
continuum.
put him
I
both
think.
That's his only good performance.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Not even that.
You have
before we get too carried away, so I could talk about movies on any level forever. But so
I can
early
remember
February is kind of a dull time to talk about movies, and then you just gotta talk about the Oscars, I guess. Because all the bad movies, they always shove all the bad movies
I
in
love talking about the
in
Oscars.
January
It's
and
like-
February.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
But we
bedtime for
talk
new
about
releases,
it so
but
much
they're
if
not-
you read our newsletter, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, and watch our YouTube channel, which
you
is
can sign up for the newsletter just by going to film.fiu.edu and a little pop-up will appear. You just put in your email address.
But yeah, so going through, I was just since it's Oscar season, and this we could talk about for a long time. We're going to talk about some Oscar history and some snubs, some winners, some ones that should have been great but weren't. A lot of foreign films get lost up, especially back in the '60s, like Fellini films, and we'll talk about those. But just to talk about the Oscars this year preliminarily. If that's even a word, preliminarily.
Sure.
I think this year is a pretty lackluster year, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean that's the yeah. I mean, in terms of Best Picture nominees, it's just a weak field, you know.
It really is.
Yeah.
But the foreign films,
Because,
as you
like,
mentioned,
are
there's
all
some-
better than the Best Picture.
Yeah,
nominees.
that's right.
Shoplifters, Coriata is like
Even ones that didn't get nominated,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Burning,
like Burning.
it's
yeah,
better than
that's yeah.
almost all of the Best Picture nominees.
But yeah, so there are definitely some years though that stick out. Talking about There Will Be Blood, 2007.
With
Mhm.
No Country
You
for Old
look
Men,
at the
There Will Be Blood.
2007 lineup, and you got like There Will Be Blood. You got, if you want to look it up for us, the 2007 Best Picture nominees. Jose is our information guy.
It should be Jose the intern.
Jose the intern. Yeah, it should be Jose the intern.
Yeah.
But
you
yeah,
guys
you
just
have.
want to be misogynist.
There will be blood. No Country for Old Men, which ended up winning the Best Picture. Children of Men, which is
Holy
that was
shit,
that was
what's
like
that?
one of the films that introduced
I mean,
me to like
sorry.
art film. We'll
I
have
love
to bleep
hearing
that
these
one.
stories.
You
Like
love
what-
hearing my stories? you
No,
said?
like the stories that like what got you into like
Yeah.
where you are now.
Yeah, we could talk about those. Yeah,
Yeah.
Children of Men was like one of the films that got me. Obviously, my name is Forrest, so Forrest Gump. I like grew up, which is a winner of another.
Were you named after him? I've
I
always
was
been
named
asked.
after.
That's
Forrest
such
Gump.
a terrible.
I don't like that
awful-
film, and I was gonna mention it as like
Jenny.
what shouldn't have won.
Jenny.
Jenny. No,
I was
look.
because you have the
Let
two
me
R's.
explain the message. Let me explain here.
Wait, you were named after.
I was
Forrest
named
Gump?
after Forrest Gump. It was because my mother wanted for it to remind me that Forrest Gump was not very gifted. He was not a very bright man.
Mhm.
He didn't. Although,
This story keeps getting worse.
but he was always, honest
Mhm.
and modest and true to himself, and he ended up becoming successful just because he, thought about doing the right thing and not being a liar. So the point was, as long as you're honest and true to yourself, you can become successful.
That's
So she named me Forrest, and then my dad's name got shoved in as my middle name, which is Mario, and then
Forrest Mario Lens.
Lens, yeah. So my initials are FML. It's fitting, but yeah.
And
But yeah.
Forrest was named after a clan.
Yeah, he was named after General Bedford.
Nathan Bedford.
Nathan
Forrest,
Bedford
yeah.
Forrest. Yeah. Yeah, but his mother qualified it. She
I know
said
she
his
said
mother
some
qualified it.
people
The
just
same
do
way my
things
mother
for no-
qualified
Yes,
it to
that's
me.
No,
His
that's
mother
what-
qualified it to him.
That story felt like watching a 2018 remake of Forrest Gump. Like the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2007, man. Children of Men. What else is in there? If you could see some.
For Best Picture, there was The Departed, which one?
No, do the year after that.
Oh, the year after, 2008?
Yeah, the 2000, because it was the 2007 pictures.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Because that's the year that has No Country, There Will Be Blood,
Yeah.
Children of Men, which actually didn't win things.
The Departed was really good.
The Departed is
I
great.
mean, since that, yeah.
That 2006 year. Because the years that stick out in my mind, and we're going to talk about them, is 2007, 1994. We already got like a little
Okay.
taste of that from
Right.
Forrest Gump.
So what about?
So, No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood, as you guys mentioned, and also Atonement,
Atonement's a good film.
I've always wanted to watch it.
Juno.
Juno, yeah, that's one that Juno like toes that. If you've seen it, it like toes. It got like a lot of praise from the pro-life and pro-choice community.
Mm-hmm.
That writer, I don't remember his name, but he's the guy. He also wrote "Thank You for Smoking."
Ah.
He's like one of those.
Right.
He's like.
Diablo.
I think "Thank You for Smoking" is a very bold film.
Diablo Cody.
Or is it Jason Reitman?
Jason Reitman,
Jason Reitman. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who he has a feature coming out, I think. But yeah, Juno is also like a very underrated film.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's a very
People
touching
like it a
story.
lot, actually. I
Yeah.
don't think it's
I think it's an
underrated.
overrated film, personally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it's next to There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old
I
Men and Children of
consider
Men,
par with Superbad. I don't know.
I think
why.
Superbad's a great film.
Yeah, that's why I
Great.
said it.
Yeah, I think it's a
Great.
great
I think people in our generation really mess
I
with
refuse to
Superbad.
rewatch it just in case it's not
Superbad
actually
also
good.
came out in
Yeah,
2007.
me too.
Because I watched Superbad when it came out when we were in middle school, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
It was
I
also
keep the
like
memories
I think it's
close.
good.
the thing that I like about Superbad is like when you learn the history, which it was like their baby. They had been writing it since they were like 13 years old, and it's like when people make these films of, especially comedy guys, that they're being funny their whole lives, and and they just go to make a movie about stuff that they had talked about forever, and you get Superbad. It's like that culmination of all your friends.
It's
And they gave
like
us
a
McLovin.
it's a really well constructed comedy.
Yeah,
And
Mickey
it
Mouse.
is- yeah.
McLovin.
Yeah, McLovin.
McLovin.
I hope he's
I am
having a good
McLovin.
day. Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah.
I think that's his name.
and
That
from
is-
that movie on,
Yeah.
I supported everything Jonah Hill does.
I stand.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I love.
I
Jonah
love
Hill.
Jonah Hill.
Seth Rogen is chaotic Jonah Hill.
I love Seth too.
What?
But yeah. What else was in there? I
Yeah,
don't
June
And
remember.
Reed.
the last one, Michael Clayton.
Michael Clayton.
Oh,
I've never seen
God.
that.
That's the George Clooney movie,
I
right?
enjoyed Michael Clayton. I
You don't
enjoyed
like it,
that
right?
movie a
I haven't
lot.
seen it.
I'm not a fan of him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie, but I'm just
You're
not a fan. I'm
George
not a
Clooney?
fan of George Clooney.
Yeah. Another great year.
I play
Man.
myself in every movie.
And then No Country for Old Men ends up
Who
winning.
doesn't?
I fall asleep through that movie every time.
What?
I'm really ashamed to admit it.
What?
I've tried like
No
3 times in the
Country for
past 2
Old
weeks to
Men?
watch the movie.
That is
Bro,
one of the
I think
most,
it's
like-
one of their best.
I don't want to use the word haunting because I don't feel like that movie is supposed to haunt you. It's just supposed to like acknowledge a reality that I
know-
think people ignore. It's like a huge like subversion.
I know it's corny, but for
Or
me,
not
actually, my
subversion.
favorite is Fargo.
No,
Yeah.
Fargo's great.
Really,
That's a
really.
really good movie.
And
Yeah.
I also love the TV show.
I've
Oh, yeah.
never seen
I
The
like the
second
first
season?
season.
No, the second season. Mike
I
Milligan?
haven't seen the second season.
That was the first time in my life I was like, that's a good actor. He got robbed at the Emmys on some fucking... Sorry.
Who-
the
Whoa.
people
That's
versus...
more work for me.
Drop
The
The more you
people-
swear, the more I have to.
That's the first time.
Swear, she said bucket. What are you
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about?
Thank you.
That's right.
Anyways,
There's a hole in the
the
bucket.
people versus O.J. Simpson took
Oh,
the Emmys by storm that year.
I wasn't like crazy about it.
Who was
I
that?
watched
Who was
it.
that?
I
Who
binge
played
watched
OJ?
it.
Was Terrence Howard, right?
Yeah, Terrence Howard.
He
did a good job.
That was,
It was
Cuba
Terrence
Gooding Jr.
Oh
Right.
crap!
Oh,
It was
You
cute.
mixed up
Never
your
mind.
light skins.
Never mind.
Mixing up your light skins.
I actually didn't finish The People versus OJ.
I didn't either. It wasn't
I got
good.
about
I
Two-thirds
binge
of the
watched
way
it,
through, and then I
the
was
thing
Sarah
is,
like,
Paulson
didn't
wasn't spicy enough
I
for me.
didn't like the although it's important, the prosecutor arc.
Yeah, I didn't care for him.
I didn't care for her. I like the
Little
defense where it's just like
interpersonal stuff?
Shapiro and
I don't want to know about
Cochran.
their problems. Like, shut up.
I like Shapiro and Cochran just like we must save
All right.
OJ. Like,
You're
but
It was an interesting performance from John Travolta.
It really.
I think it was. I think it was good.
What
You
he was?
like it?
He was an
He,
OJ.
yeah, he
Yes,
played
he
Shapiro.
was.
He played Matthew
Oh.
Shapiro. I was going to say
I can see that.
but he played Matthew
wait.
Shapiro.
I kind of felt like Travolta
Or,
was
no, it's
trying
not
to
Matthew Shapiro,
channel
it's
De
Robert
Niro,
Shapiro.
like how De Niro would have played the part, and it was just like this very strange thing.
It seems like he's been doing that for the past couple movies.
I mean, yeah, and then you take up 2007's list and just compare it to this year,
Oh my god!
and you're just like, what were they doing 12 years ago?
Well,
it was the end of George Bush. That's
I
why.
mean, I think this points out something.
Politics is important.
Points out something interesting about the Oscars, which is like, I mean, there's a certain sweet spot of, generally popular yet artistically respectable movies. You know?
Yeah, that's
That like
That's the thing.
if but that's like I mean because there's a lot of really good movies
They're all
that
Hollywood.
were out this year, but no like big studio movies that are actually
yeah.
worthwhile this year.
That's the thing.
So that's the
What is Black Panther nominated
Best Picture.
best picture.
Best
for? Oh, yeah, that's a
picture.
big studio movie right there.
That's a huge.
Wait, you think that's a best picture nominee?
It is a best picture.
No, I mean like
Oh,
should
like,
it,
Deserving
should,
Best Picture.
I mean is it
Oh.
like
I
best
wasn't too
picture?
crazy about that film.
No.
Only reason,
It's not-
look,
yeah.
you know why I say it is because if they give Avatar a Best Picture nomination,
Well,
they
yeah,
had
yes.
to give.
Impact.
They had to give
would,
Black
I
Panther
would,
money.
I would agree that like it is a culturally significant moment in film that like deserves
I didn't like the
recognition.
insinuation of the
but-
CIA into the storyline, so I was like, you lost some points. That's what
and that was okay. Just the CGI is what killed it for me. It was really bad.
It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
it was horrible.
And that third-
Marvel, you have all this money.
The mines.
You
were
have all
realistic.
this money and-
Do you not think those were realistically rendered mines? No.
Did you see those rhinos?
The rhinos looked.
Did you see those rhinos?
I preferred Venom CGI because Venom
Oh,
didn't try.
Jesus
my-
Christ.
Venom CGI was better than
Because
Black
Venom,
Panther.
Venom didn't try to hide the fact that it was a cartoon.
Hey,
I
are you
don't-
saying
I don't-
Venom is a better film than Black Panther?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
that's a hot
does
take.
Does
take.
Black Panther have Tom Hardy in a lobster tank? No.
No,
No, but it has Chadwick Boseman,
it has shirtless Michael B. Jordan.
bloody. Yeah, it has all those men short. Have you seen M'Baku?
No, I haven't.
No.
Chadwick Boseman's in it?
No, the dude
Yeah.
that beat the hell out of him in the first scene. And they live in the mountains, and they are
M'Baku.
like, yes.
Mhm,
Oh my
mhm.
God. I've seen it like 4 times, so like I get it. Like
They
who's
should
to
have.
see?
What they should have done with the third act, it shouldn't have been like a power throwing shit show. it should have been like they shouldn't have been in their suits. I
Or
don't
they
think
could
when
have
they fuck.
developed
When,
Akil, the writer.
no, seriously, it makes more sense. Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman, they should have been out of their suits, like having like a brawl, just like them, no suits,
Wait,
just man to man
why?
fight. It would have made it. It would have made it a more like touching.
Yeah.
More,
No, that makes it more personal.
Sex-
It would have been
And
sexier.
sexy.
It would have been more personal
I feel
fight.
like that has implications.
Who cares?
Whatever.
Not,
Good,
not in the
Good.
way-
Yeah.
You guys are not getting me, but
Maybe not the whole fight, obviously.
Oh, you mean like Django and Chain?
Thank you.
implications?
Of course, that's my
Oh,
But
okay.
that's not the point. That's not what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah.
not slaves at all. They're
They're
in a
battling for kingship.
they're in a king. Yeah, they're battling for kingship, not slaves.
But even that, that juxtaposed.
okay, but at the same time, like think about George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, Rumble in the Jungle. These men aren't slaves either. These are boxers at the top of their game. And
But what's
still
the
they're
difference with
fighting
them-
Yeah,
to-
but still they're compared. To,
But you're
Yeah.
But then you could say that same point for them fighting. Period. Even in their suits, I'm saying the fighting would have been more. It would have been more. It wouldn't have been a CGI shit show if it wasn't them coming down
No,
a tunnel
I
with
think-
trains everywhere and
yeah, I think it,
They
and
could have just been on the grassy.
reflection
it
blast
would've been
and all
more
this
personal.
stupid stuff.
it
Yeah,
would have been more. human.
You just like gave me this image of
gritty.
like the two of them fighting, and then like Thomas the Train like coming.
yeah. It was really. That's what I mean. Like, I'm talking about the CG. It would have
Oh,
been
no,
a better
it was
fight.
disgusting.
Yeah, it was
The
terrible.
middle just
It would have been better if they would have beat like if they would have beat the suits off each other.
Straight faster.
Oh, we're probably kind of loud.
I
Okay, this
wasn't
is
talking.
something for me to edit. We
This
just got
goes-
ding dong
This
ditch.
goes.
No, I think that means shut up.
That's the ghost.
Yeah, we probably are a
That's a
little
shut
loud.
up knock, and I'm not going to tell you again knock.
I think it would have been better if they would have beaten the suits off each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both like dragging across the floor to try to beat each other to the point where their suits aren't working anymore, and they have to fight. No
Oh.
superpowers.
One can yank the necklace off of the other or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It has to be something with symbolism and like it's personal. Like
Mhm.
Is this movie worth like going into this much detail?
Yes,
to improve
yes,
I mean,
it
it's
is.
nominated for Best Picture.
I'm just trying to correct
It's
the
what
movie.
the
So we
people
could talk
deserve.
about Black Panther being nominated for Best Picture. So yeah.
Another good year for Best Picture was 2014.
What was in there? Moonlight.
Dallas Buyers Club, American Hustle,
Mm.
Gravity, Her, 12 Years a Slave, Wolf of Wall Street, Captain Phillips, Nebraska, and Philomena. I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah, it had like
That's
nine.
pretty. That's pretty.
Really
Captain
good.
Phillips.
That's really good.
And if you think about it,
What did?
Captain Phillips.
I watched it.
like if you
It
It wasn't worth watching for
It wasn't
I
worth
had
a
to cut
best.
to know.
I wouldn't see it as like a Best Picture nom.
Yeah.
But,
like if you look at it,
wasn't that bad.
most of
Yeah.
the categories like wasn't really a film that won like more than 2 categories. 12 Years a Slave
Yeah.
won Best Picture and they won Best Actress, Supporting
Supporting
Actress.
actress.
Gravity won Best Director. Dallas
Dallas
Buy-
won Best Director for Gravity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dallas Buyers Club won
He didn't win.
best-
he
best,
didn't win
supporting
things
actor.
for Children of Men.
Supporting
Jared
actor?
Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yeah,
won-
Jared Leto won.
Was it
Is that
supporting
how you say
actor or
it?
was it lead? It was
No,
it was a-
leading actor.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey did win lead
Yeah.
actor. for
Dallas Buyers
Gravity.
Club
Okay. So
won
they
both
won
the
both.
male.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then Matthew
I've still
McConaughey,
never
man,
seen it.
because that was like when he
Her-
had his career change.
Her won Best Screenplay.
Oh,
Did it win cinematography? No, it didn't because no, it didn't. I remember.
Wow, yeah, 2014 is a big year. You got her. You got
And I
Dallas
believe
Buyers Club.
Jennifer Lawrence won for American Hustle.
Really?
Was it American
Wait,
Hustle
for-
or
or was it
no,
Amy Adams?
Silver
For lead-
Linings Playbook? Was it Silver
No,
Linings
that's
Playbook?
that's 2 years before. That's 2012, which is
Okay.
also a good year.
Yeah, that's a good year too. But I think she won for
Who was
lead
2012?
actress.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Hold on.
Wait, you don't like it?
No.
Yeah, it didn't deserve that.
Really?
Yeah, really.
What was it about
Well,
Silver
it's
Linings?
not.
It just feels like
Like, oh, bipolar man and crazy.
it's just like a Oscar bait.
You think so?
I
I didn't like
That was
American
right
Hustle
words.
as much as I like Silver Linings
All
Playbook.
right. Okay.
What,
I'm just
what,
gonna be bitter and cynical over here.
what would go do the 2012 Best Picture nomination?
She didn't win for American Hustle though.
It was American
It was
Hustle.
for Silver
Then it
Linings
was Silver
Playbook.
Linings.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody won some. I think Maybe it was Matthew McConaughey. No, because that was Dallas Buyers Club.
Was it Reese Witherspoon? No, that was 2015.
Amy Adams could have won in American Hustle.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe. I don't remember who won Best Actress for.
I can check right now.
Because I think 2012, like you have, was The Fighter in 2012?
Jesus, get to
The
the
Fighter is Fincher, right?
2017 was actually.
No, it's
No.
not 2012.
2017 is actually pretty solid too. Looking at it, they had Fences,
Oh.
Hacksaw Ridge, Moonlight, Manchester by the Sea, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Arrival.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved a couple years ago.
I guess everything is just better in comparison to this year now.
Arrival got nominated that year.
Yeah, 2017 sounds good.
That was a really fun year to like catch up on the movies that you didn't
Yeah, it
see.
was.
You know,
Yeah.
and
That's usually the sign of a good year.
Yeah.
It's like, here are these.
But I also feel like this year had movies you had to catch up on. They just weren't nominated.
Yeah, like the movies that should have been nominated.
Yeah, like The Rider.
Yeah, right.
Can You Ever Forget? Not Can You Ever Forgive Me? You Were Never Really Here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're never really here. I can't believe that didn't get nominated for anything.
First Reform.
First Reformed.
I love that movie.
That's my number 2 of last year.
It's my number 1.
Oh, Kate Blanchett won for Blue Jasmine. That took entirely too long.
Oh, that movie's terrible.
I don't
I
like
know
that
it
movie.
was.
I mean,
didn't
and
have
I'm
to
a Woody
watch
Allen
it.
fan, but it's just like
Really?
that movie is just like, ugh.
I don't know, dude.
He was still
I
allowed
feel
to
like
make movies back then?
He's still making movies now.
But like movies where people like actually like sign up for his
So many
movies?
people
Yes,
like
yes.
him still. Timothée, however the heck
he
you
made
say his
Midnight
name.
in Paris in like,
Yeah.
what, 2010?
Yeah.
9?
I thought that'd be taboo now.
Selena Gomez was working with him like last year.
Oh, that's right. She was working with him last year. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is crazy.
Selena Gomez, really?
Selena Gomez, bruh. Yeah.
She also worked with James
Isn't
Franco.
she a little old for him now?
She's got a. No, I'm not giving
Oh
it to
my
those
god, that
jokes.
is low blow.
Yeah.
Sorry, Woody.
Sorry, Woody.
Sorry.
Why would you
I shouldn't be
apologize to
apologizing to Woody.
yeah.
Yes, let's
Sorry
apologize to
to
pedophiles.
sorry to everyone for apologizing to Woody Allen right
Woody and Roman Polanski walk into a bar.
now. Oh god. Oh, things just have gone very.
I mean playground.
here. Oh.
Wow, we're being spicy today.
Mm,
Spicy.
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 Okay.
But yeah, even going deeper, the years that come out in my mind, like 94. 94 has Forrest Gump, which won Best Picture.
It's coming back full circle.
It has Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, which for some reason is the top rated movie on IMDb.
Is it really?
Yeah,
White guilt.
it's got like a 9.3
White guilt.
on IMDb.
I like the Shawshank Redemption.
I like the Shawshank
I think it's an enjoyable, like, I'm sick and it's Saturday and you know I'm laying on the couch kind of movie.
It's like
you know?
Green Mile.
But
Yeah. But
yeah.
I hate Morgan Freeman.
Oh, do you?
Deeply.
Yeah,
So it's
and
like,
Why?
Yeah.
I just
He's
don't
a good
enjoy
actor.
him. No, he's not. He
You don't
plays the
think
same person.
He
I
does. He
actually
plays like the
guessed-
wise old guy.
I've never seen The Shawshank Redemption.
He does.
And I guessed what his role was off of the strength of
Well,
what he's done.
I mean,
And
he's
even
like he's the
Frank
trope of
was
the like
walking
wise
into
old
the
black
prison.
man.
Exactly,
You know,
and it's just
that's-
like switch
You
it
smoke
up,
crack,
do
don't
something
you?
else.
I am the
You
wise
smoke
old
crack,
guy.
don't you?
Is that your? You gotta get more deeper. His voice.
You
has much
smoke
more-
crack, don't you?
No, his voice has much more dulcet tones underneath.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Morgan Freeman.
2010 was pretty good too.
It's still
Sprinkles on
more
ice
beat.
cream.
More bass though.
2010 had Inglourious Bastards,
Oh yes.
The Hurt Locker, which
Yeah.
won,
Yeah, I remember.
A Serious Man,
A serious.
had Avatar,
That's my favorite Coen movie.
Really?
Yes.
A Serious Man?
I love that
Man's my
movie.
favorite.
had Avatar, it had Up, the Disney movie,
Ugh.
had Precious, it had
Precious one like was nominated. Precious was like what all the.
had The
prizes
Blind
were
Side
at.
also, and had District 9.
I remember I hadn't
That's a
watched
good-
any of those other movies, and I wanted District 9 to win so bad. So then I like got resentful against The Hurt Locker, and that's why I've never seen it.
I haven't
Also,
seen that
because of
movie
the
either.
The subject matter does not interest me, and I thought District 9 slapped, but I was very young.
Inglourious Bastards was better though.
It is, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't see Glorious Bastards until I
Goodbye,
was 16.
Shoshana. Au revoir.
I watched it back to back on
Yeah.
a school night.
I've seen that. That's probably the movie I've seen the second most.
Besides, there
Besides,
was
like, yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
what I mean, second most.
yeah.
Yeah.
But besides like Disney movies when I was a kid, I watched watch them over and over. Like
I've seen Mulan a considerable amount of times.
I've probably
in
seen
my
Lion
adulthood.
King and Aladdin like probably over 100 plus.
Look
times.
up the because this to me is like one of the most important years in film, which is 1969. Like that 68, 69. That's like when the peak of the new Hollywood started getting in. You had films like 2001, Easy Rider. I don't think The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was 69. I think it was 66, but it's around that era. I wonder who was nominated for Best Picture.
That's a good
I have
one.
to edit that in there. For the 1969 Best Pictures.
In '69, yeah, it's none of those you mentioned.
What's nominated?
Oliver, Funny
Oh.
Girl,
Yeah.
The Lion in Winter,
Do the year after that.
so 70.
Yeah, the 70 winners, which are like the 69 productions. So you have the Super Bowl, and then you have the Oscars, and everybody's got to say 20 the year before.
So that year, Midnight Cowboy,
Oh, Midnight Cowboy.
Anne of a Thousand Days, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Was that 69?
Those were the films that came out in 69.
I didn't realize it was that old.
Hello, Dolly, and Z. That's the best picture.
Hello, my
Z.
baby. Hello.
No, the best picture though is Midnight Cowboy.
Was Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah.
Strycharski has a couple years on
I like
all
the
of us.
opening
Just a little bit.
sequence of that movie.
So, Dr. Strycharski, as a wise old sage, which year in particular do you remember was being like that year where I was just at the movies?
As that year where I was
That
just at
year.
the movies?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. See,
Where
the
the
thing
movies-
is like, I mean, I grew
Back
up in the
when people went to
80s,
the
and
movies.
so it was just like, you know, what was good in the 80s?
Blade Runner was pretty decent.
But it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's I don't remember. I remember, you know what I remember? I'm not going to answer your question. I'll answer a different one. I remember when I guess I was in like middle school, and I was out with a friend, and we were going to the movies, and we were going to see a movie called Cannonball Run. It was like a Burt Reynolds like road movie kind of comedy-ish thing. And so that was the movie we were going to see. And then there was this other film that was also playing at the theater at the same time. And we're like, well, do we want to see this other movie, or do we want to see Cannonball Run? Did you just look up Cannonball
Yeah.
Run?
Looking at the
Let me see.
Oh,
And
that's
so-
a lot.
And so this other movie was starring Harrison Ford, who we knew from Star Wars, you know. And so I was just like, okay, well, we'll see Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know.
Oh my god.
And so I went into that movie without any expectations, just thinking,
That's awesome.
you know, maybe, you know, and you know,
That's
of course,
awesome.
it was just a new experience in watching movies. I mean, it was just like it's so, you know, so that's like
The
one
adventure.
of my like, you know, I tried rewatching Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, I rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know, a few months ago, and it's not, you know, it's not as good as I
You know,
remember it.
it's
Hot
not-
take.
The thing is it? Yeah.
Spielberg's overrated.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
Whoa. Is that just because you?
I like
rejected?
all his movies when I was a kid. Every time I rewatch one of his movies, I get disappointed.
Well, look, he has
Except for Jurassic
he's
Park.
very like it's the same. A lot of people give him this criticism, especially like the more snobby film guys, that he's very escapist.
That was that
Yeah.
you.
That he's very like he
Yeah.
Spielberg's a lot of
Shade.
his films.
Yeah.
He's also the reason like why Hollywood is Hollywood now. He's the
Mystery.
guy who introduced
Yeah.
the summer blockbuster.
He ruined cinema.
He ruined cinema after like the 60s and 70s with like film as an art form, and like the iconoclasts came
So
in.
do you
and
think
were
the
like,
old
"Yeah."
film guys want to jump him? Like if you
No.
think about it, like they
Because
already
he's
know.
still a great.
No, he
filmmaker.
made good movies.
Yeah.
He
It's
still makes
just-
great movies.
The thing is, like big studios, they try to copy what he did.
Yeah,
But
but they
f-
destroyed the landscape that was there. So don't you think?
Well, because the thing is, his movies have
Guys, have fun with this,
spectacles.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Yeah. His movies have
his
has
movies are
spectacles. Yeah,
spectacle.
they're spectacles, but they're also good movies.
The thing with Spielberg that I love, and I was talking to Akil about this the other day, is that he is so good with extras. He knows how to make a moment cinematic, like a seemingly simple moment in the day in the life.
He's
Like you just get a group of people running in panic from one end to another, or like, and another thing is when people get shot, Spielberg knows how to shoot people. Seriously,
Damn,
like,
really?
You know,
it's like,
like,
that's what.
dude,
that's
when
that's like. I mean,
like when random people get like mowed down
I'm
in like, or like in Schindler's List when the Nazis like line up and execute people.
I have
It's
to
like
watch that.
That still
in
bro,
class.
stands. That's
he
still a really
makes
good movie.
he
Schindler's
nobody
okay, so
makes
like
that
when
like
you
Spielberg.
when you want to actually make the violence of
Yeah.
guns
Yeah.
like apparent,
Yeah,
he does it. Yeah,
He
I
is
mean,
the
Schindler's
best.
List.
Ryan,
yeah,
too.
he did Saving Private Ryan.
Oh.
That's another film where like people get shot.
I might have over exaggerated a bit. I obviously don't mean.
I know.
I don't mean all his
If you guys
movies.
could see, his face was like going through a transformation
Yeah.
and a journey of guilt.
Yeah, because you're mentioning movies, I'm like, okay, I rewatched that and it wasn't that bad. But like, E.T.'s a terrible movie.
It is.
Indiana,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I haven't rewatched it.
I have no fondness.
When I was a kid, I thought E.T.
I
was
was
it.
4 watching it in pre-K and I was like, this is a mess.
No,
I don't
I thought
like
I thought it was great when I was a
No.
kid.
So I didn't.
No.
He's definitely like. I'd say he's gone down in quality, but so do most directors. But my favorite film of his, maybe not my favorite, but the film of his that I think is actually the best in terms of films isn't Schindler's List. It's Munich. Because I don't usually like historical fiction. I know it's like a very snobby thing to say, but like I like
Not
historical,
a fan, is it?
not historical fiction, but like historical films in terms of like making art, literature, in terms of like film as the essential art, the media. I don't like
Like
things-
What
Link.
accent was that right there?
It's Arnold, but like
That's
Film
perfect.
is-
No, sustain it for your explanation.
yes, I don't like the historical pieces because they don't capture the angst of the artist.
Like Lincoln.
Yeah, like Lincoln, because you know they're objective, or at least they're supposed to make these objective narratives.
Didn't like Lincoln cost Hillary Clinton the election or something?
Probably.
There's a lot of things that cost her the election, so.
Wait, no, you have to explain that. Why?
There was a moment in the election where it was. Well, she compared something to a moment in the movie Lincoln, and then she
That
was
one-
ridiculed for it or something like that.
That one best
She
picture.
shot herself in the foot plenty of times.
Many times, my God.
Both feet and the legs.
Hello, DNC.
And in the arm for no
Don't
reason.
put
Yeah.
someone like that up again. Thank you.
She might
No,
run.
Good night.
she's insinuating
She
she
might
might
run
try
again.
She is gonna try
I
again.
was like, sit your time behind me.
Yes.
Look, I mean,
Nah, I don't-
That's unbelievable.
They said that she's gonna run
She is
again
a
on,
psychopath.
some-
But also it's like Joe Biden is like running like come on.
Bernie's
People,
running
don't
again.
have- people, the
All these
DNC.
old people need to take a...
Okay, wait. This
You
is
know
not
the-
this is not the Democratic
I know,
nomination
this is
podcast.
the-
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is-
Right,
I know.
Let's get back to the Oscars.
Speaking of
Back to the
films
Oscars.
about Democratic nominees, the Ides of March and George Clooney.
The more like kind of kiddie Spielberg movie that I like, because he has two different. He has the historical.
He has very escapist, and
Yeah.
then he has humanist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like his more like escapist film that I like that still stands
He's
time.
better at the very escape. But
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
I liked I still like Third Kind. What's the full name of the movie?
Oh, the
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Kind.
Yeah,
That's a great
agreed.
movie.
That's still
That
a
I
really
love
good
that
movie.
movie.
That holds up.
Yeah, it's still a really good movie. But
Okay.
E.T., oh my god.
Absolutely not.
You don't like
Yeah.
E.T.? I like E.T.
I
man.
thought
it was
I
a
did.
Beautiful movie.
I like the
I've seen it
character.
all the
I
time.
like the character E.T.
Yeah, he's hard to
Yeah.
hate.
I like
man.
I
You
like
can't hate
I like the scene where
It made
they're
me so uncomfortable.
bicycling and flying over the backlight of the
sorry.
moon. That's
And
of
he's,
course.
and he's the subject of one of the memorable Pepsi commercials of my childhood.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't seen all the Indiana Jones. The first one I ever saw was the last one that came out, which is terrible.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
hate
think it
that
was.
I didn't
awful.
even see that.
I didn't think it was awful.
Yeah.
My favorite Indiana Jones film is Last Crusade. I like it more than
Really?
Raiders. I love Last Crusade with young Indy and he's there
Temple
with
of
his
Doom.
dad.
Temple of Doom is where it's at.
I don't know that is an unpopular take. Temple of Doom is where it's at. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that.
Because it's like it achieves the Hollywood blockbuster trashy like pinnacle of the
Yeah.
whole Indiana Jones series. I
Yeah.
think.
But it's Spielberg and Lucas that destroyed Hollywood.
Well, that's a common take. And,
Yeah,
and
it
it's
is.
a common take probably because it's correct.
And the thing is that now it's Marvel who are like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar, but there's actually like a a speculative bubble with film industry like work, this financial speculative bubble with like graphic art in Hollywood, where it's like because of these Marvel movies, the costs are rising and rising, and because they're obviously willing to pay higher and higher bills, and then all of these other independent filmmakers can't necessarily pay for better material or production.
I mean, the entire industry is in a position that it was in the 1950s, where it's trying to compete with home entertainment, and so how is it going to do that? And, in the 50s, I mean, it's kind of interesting that like 3D, is how Hollywood, is responding now, and it's how they responded in the 50s to the challenge of television. So it's like, what's going to happen with that? So it's like, I can understand the superhero movies and the investment in those, because it's like, what are you going to do to compete with, streaming movies at home? It's like, you've got to provide some kind of, experience in order to draw people out to the theater. So
there was the one of the most important functions of the 60s was that's where like competing box offices came out from, where like studios were now competing on the same weeks to try to like to try to get like max revenue, and that's what really like drew people to the cinemas. And then like we're gonna talk a lot about Scorsese. I can already see it coming because there's like Netflix, Best Picture snubs, competing box office news.
You know what? Maybe you can't. Of course, we say we blame like Spielberg and the superhero movies. You can't necessarily blame them. You have to blame the studios trying to copy what they did and not being able to grasp the essence and just putting out shit just to make money.
The problem is capitalism.
Exactly. I mean, you see what happened to DC. They made a bunch of shitty superhero movies trying to copy Marvel. I mean, sorry, crappy. I'm sorry. They made really bad superhero movies.
Well, I mean, because and it's also, I guess, DC figured, well, we'll be the dark version of Marvel.
Yeah, but they also rushed to compete.
It worked when they had Christopher Nolan, directing in that way. But it's like, not every director is Christopher Nolan.
Exactly.
They also rushed to compete.
The thing is,
they rushed to get their ensemble.
It took Marvel like 7 years, 7 years to make the first Avengers.
At least 5 years.
Yeah, it was like 5 years to make the first Avengers after they had like Iron Man and the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. DC just had that one Superman movie. They had the one Superman movie. Then they made Batman versus Superman. And they tried to smush everyone in there. And then a couple.
I don't know how that studio wasn't just like, maybe this is a bad idea.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll still make money.
Okay, so
and then a guy like Spielberg, though, it's like he has so much money that he will never die. I feel like
he has so much money that he'll never die.
He'll never, like, in terms of film, he could just throw a wad of cash at a camera, and like an at least good film will come out.
JJ.
But then he's also Spielberg.
Right.
So then that he can also make a great film. He has
all his films make money.
Yeah,
all his films make money.
All his films.
The Post, that are really bad
because
movie that
there are certain names.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One.
There are certain names that it's like you go to the cinema for.
Yeah, Tarantino.
And like
he draws people in.
It kind of sucks. I think there's a little bit of a renaissance. I'm not sure about the economics behind it. It kind of sucks that like going to the cinema has kind of like died and is now like Marvel. At least we have them to thank for that. That the experience of going to
I think I don't know what the numbers are, but I think the actual revenues are down again this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that
it's Marvel, and then it's everyone. Marvel and Star Wars, and then it's everyone else. And then that brings it
like no one went to see A Private War,
And the thing is, like,
no one.
Like Cuarón. Alfonso Cuarón is like one of these.
You get that shit.
He is one of these. He is one of these guys that like I want to go to the movies to watch. Spielberg, Cuarón is up there. I want to go to the movies to watch these guys. I want to watch these in the cinema. Del Toro, and here he is. Puts Roma on Netflix.
Right.
And now Scorsese's doing that.
And that's what I was just getting to. That Scorsese did that.
So
The
now
Irishman is going to be a Netflix production.
Okay, so then how do you guys feel about like the nature of the industry and how it's changing to kind of just be dominated or swayed solely by like revenue, or what's gonna bring you like the biggest bag?
There's auteurs out there, man, that like not that they're always going to make revenue, so their vision, like Scorsese. Scorsese at this point knows, and his studio knows, that if he makes a movie, it's not going to bomb. It could do less than optimal, but I mean,
What about that little like
Dude,
Japanese movie that came out?
it's called Silence.
oh, Silence.
It's not a little Japanese.
It didn't do terrible. Look up the numbers for Silence's box office. I think it
It
bombed,
wasn't
but it
little
wasn't
bad.
awful.
I wasn't a fan of the movie, but I like the
It's
book.
long
I read
and
the
boring.
book. Yeah.
I mean,
But Scorsese also
I know,
just, like-
I know people who love
Oh,
that movie,
whoa,
but it's
whoa,
just
we got-
I didn't.
What I love,
the
I
numbers.
liked it, but I didn't love
The
it.
book is good, just it doesn't work as a
what I
movie.
love about Scorsese is that you can tell he's just a guy who loves making movies. Same with Tarantino.
He loves movies.
He
you know,
loves
just loves
Yeah.
movies, right?
He grew up
Yeah.
and he loves it, and this is his passion. That's
Yeah.
why he likes making them.
Yeah.
He is the master of pace. He is the
Who,
master.
Scorsese?
Yeah. Which is funny because Silence is boring. But like he is the master of pace. You watch Goodfellas.
Well, I mean, a lot of people find him to be too slow, but I guess that's these
What?
days. Or
I
these
think
days
him
are
and
kind
Paul
of like-
Thomas Anderson are in the same like realm as far as like their pacing of movies.
Dude, Scorsese, you watch Goodfellas. To me, Goodfellas is a perfectly directed movie.
I think so too.
Because not a lot happens. Like, not a lot of
Yeah.
important things happen. It's just one guy's simple life in the mob. He's not even
Yeah.
like a higher up or anything.
Yeah,
But 2.5 hours of that film is like that.
I
just-
don't disagree.
And
Yeah.
you're just having fun with it. Wolf of Wall Street is 3 hours of some rich douchebag being rich douchebag.
And that's just Goodfellas on Quaaludes.
And that's just Goodfellas on Quaaludes.
Yeah.
It's Goodfellas on cheap cocaine. Like, he
What was the name of those super Quaaludes that they took?
I
The
forgot.
Lemon drops?
The lemon drops.
That was
yeah.
the funniest
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. And bro, that movie is also
man.
just well paced.
Scorsese movies are pretty much it's following some guy, some interesting person
Yeah.
with a
Mhm.
camera.
And
That's all
I
they're
love
doing. Yeah.
Casino. I know
Do you
people
love
say
Casino?
Casino is just
I like
Goodfellas in the West. I love
I
Casino.
like
Yeah,
Casino
it makes me
too.
uncomfortable.
That's also because I love gambling. I like, but like I love like
Do you need to
Vegas
talk
about it?
Casino. No.
So,
Like-
so all right. I'm not gonna.
What?
Say it.
No, I just think that Robert De Niro just plays this exact same character he did
Yeah.
in Goodfellas.
Yeah, he did.
You know?
He did.
And
He
so-
plays the exact. It's Goodfellas in the West, but I still
That's
love
the
that
same-
film.
He knows how to get the check.
I love the way it breaks down the suits. Cause
But you know
the
what?
suits De Niro wears.
I will say this: as a result of that movie, when I do stay in a hotel in Las Vegas, I stay at the Flamingo.
Yeah. That's it. Anytime I go to Vegas, I'm gonna have to stay at the
That sounds
Flamingo.
like good sponsored content right there.
You know what? Maybe
Like
I
the
could.
Dos
Maybe we
Equis.
should.
Yeah,
maybe
we don't
should-
have sponsors yet, but
Yes.
we hope to.
Yeah.
So, Flamingo Hotel, if you're out there.
He would be the most interesting man in the world.
A word from
for
our
that.
hopeful sponsors.
Yes.
If you want,
I mean, we could drop it. We could figure out a way to drop in mention of your place. You know, in every podcast. Just,
yeah,
you know.
Coral Gables Art Cinema and Miami Beach Cinematheque. What's going on?
Yeah.
We like movies.
Yeah.
Acknowledge us. like,
And we're funny.
yeah, and we're funny.
Santander Bank.
Santander Bank.
You know.
What were the numbers on Silence by Scorsese? Because that to me would probably be one of his films
The
that does
mod
the
is
worst.
23.7 million. Yeah.
That sounds like it lost
$46
money.
million budget.
Oh god.
$46 million budget.
Oh.
And what did it do opening and then global?
Global 23.7.
Million?
Yeah.
Wow, it did awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did garbage.
Yep. Because the world knew that was.
It's because they weren't Italian.
Exactly.
I think so. He
It's
needs to
'cause
stay
they
in
weren't
his
Italian.
lane.
There's no chance.
Were they supposed to be Spanish?
They were supposed to be
They're
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
They're Portuguese. that's right.
Portuguese and
Portuguese.
Japanese.
But the thing is
Portuguese
that
missionaries.
what I was getting to
Japan.
is that Scorsese loves movies and he loves Japanese and he loves Italian cinema and I feel like when he made Silence he definitely, and he's mentioned this, I'm pretty sure he tried to, that was supposed to be like a love letter
Mm-hmm.
to like those
And
Kurosawa
it
settings
was,
and
and
stuff.
it was a movie that he'd been working on and off for like years
Yeah.
and years.
He
and
said he's
years,
been working
too.
on that his entire career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
What?
bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I felt really
See,
bad
He said
about
that was
not
his-
liking that
That's
movie.
why they need to
yeah.
stop working on things their entire career.
But it wasn't that.
Just
That was his
work on
like
it.
passion project. He was like, I always wanted to adapt this book.
But yeah,
What's a
also
good passion project?
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown's a passion project. Yeah. You had
Kill
one-
Bill.
Super Bad, we were just talking about.
Okay.
Super Bad.
I think Kill Bill is the epitome of passion projects.
I guess
Kill Bill
Roma
Volume
counts
1
as
is
a
my
passion
favorite.
project.
That movie's, we don't have
Yeah,
to
it's
talk
Naga
about it.
doesn't like
personal.
Roma.
That movie's so bad.
Okay.
I don't have anything more to say about it because I already said all that I need to say about it, but that movie's just so bad.
Yeah, and going along with Scorsese and the
I agree.
Oscars is
With
that
the evaluation
Boogie
of
Nights.
Roma.
It's
Is-
really bad.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
about so bad, but
It's
anyway,
so
yes.
bad.
going
sorry.
along with Scorsese and the Oscars is that Scorsese, especially for Best Picture, got snubbed a lot. Not snubbed because he wasn't mentioned, but he didn't get the win when he made.
Well, I mean,
1990?
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves beat Goodfellas.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's
to me,
wild.
Goodfellas is a perfect movie. It's like, it's a perfect. New Hollywood film.
This is what my take on the Oscars generally is like, is just like part of the fun of the Oscars is getting to complain about the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
They can't.
So-
It's
it's like,
become part of the
if,
culture.
If they ever like got everything right, there would be it would be boring. You know.
I thought 2015 was a decent year.
What else? What was in 2015?
Well,
It was 12 Years a Slave, right?
no, it was Birdman, Grand
Yeah,
Budapest.
Birdman's so bad.
I like-
I thought it was an
You
interesting
just
love
show.
Birdman.
Oh, I hate
Stop
Birdman
it.
too. I think
Stop
it's
it.
horrible.
I love.
I was really rooting for Rosamund Pike to win for Gone Girl.
Yeah, I mean, and she didn't even get nominated.
She did get
for
nominated
no
for Best
this year
Actress.
for Private. See, I guess I'm on the Private War bandwagon now, which is like
I haven't seen it.
no one saw it, and
Tony
and,
Collette, Hereditary.
Oh yeah. No,
I'm gonna
Hereditary
throw
is
this out
a
here.
masterful movie, and I don't use that lightly but Hereditary is a masterful work of horror, which does not happen often.
Birdman was boring.
It was.
Birdman
I love
was
Birdman.
grating and
I don't think that man's
I
ever
don't
made
think
a
it
good
was-
movie, but I know that's a spicy take.
I don't think it was disingenuous like
Who,
other people
the-
think.
Iñárritu.
Iñárritu.
The Revenant was really good.
I don't like.
I didn't
any
like
of
The
it.
Revenant.
I
Any of
love
it.
that movie.
I
All
think
of his
Birdman
movies
was
suck.
a great piece talking about, basically ignorance and lies that we tell ourselves. It's really a Bildungsroman Roman part 2. Post 40 midlife crisis, I have to acknowledge my problems.
No,
I think it did that
post 40
well.
midlife crisis, you can bury your problems and hide them from yourself. That's
Right.
what you get.
Yeah, that's
Is that appeal?
I
That's
thought it
right,
was-
right.
I thought it
that's
was-
pearl of wisdom
I thought it was
That's
a,
gonna
from someone
work.
who's lived it.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought it was a great film about that. was a fantastic
no,
movie.
I didn't. Well, okay. Whatever.
What do you?
Our
Was it
our
the
English
single shot?
department's Dr. Cadle's take on Iñárritu is that he is a director who hates his characters, and it comes across in the movies he makes. And,
That's
and
why I
it's
thought
like,
about Babel. That movie hurt me.
Yeah. There, people have.
It's like he's a sadist, and he enjoys like torturing the characters.
Like
he
when
presents
What
woman
other
on
who worked
screen.
for that house with the kids, and then when Gael's character messed it up for everyone,
Mhm.
I couldn't even finish. Oh God, I hated it.
There are writers like that people talk about. It's escaping me right now.
I
but
like
there's-
torturing my characters.
Yeah, I like torturing.
Do you think
characters.
Haneke, is that how you say his name?
Oh, yeah.
Qualifies for
Michelle
that?
Haneke? No, because the thing is that Haneke gets a lot of times he gets mischaracterized as a misanthrope, and that's because
This is gonna
You-
sound
you-
crazy, but I don't think he hates the protagonist of The Piano Teacher.
I don't think so either.
I really like them.
I think Haneke is just brutally honest and melancholic. He's not a misanthrope. He definitely, his films have, not a lot of people have probably watched Haneke films because he's, this
I
foreign
try.
filmmaker. But a lot of his
A lot
films,
of people have seen Funny Games.
and more,
Yeah.
but a lot of, I feel like there's a lot, like Kubrick, there's these nodes of being better. There's these nodes of optimism that I get from, acknowledging reality.
Mhm.
People also mischaracterize Kubrick as a misanthrope all the time.
You think that's mischaracterization?
Yes. I think Kubrick is. I think he himself has said that he is not.
By the way I've heard of how he acts as a director, I'd say he might be a misanthrope.
I think that he has this certain view of reality that can be very disheartening, but at the same time, it's very human to persevere and to understand
think
and
it's
to acknowledge hard truth.
Yeah,
to become better.
I think that
and to
I agree.
break the surface.
He tries to make sure people acknowledges the truth. He's
Yeah.
not a misanthrope.
He's
He
all
doesn't-
about hard truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the truth may be hard, but it's the truth, and it's better than the lie. I think the rest in peace, because I love Eyes Wide Shut.
Me too.
Oh my god, I think that's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's so interesting how that movie, how many people are divided over that.
Let me
love-
ask you,
I love that movie.
I love Eyes Wide
A
Shut.
waste of 2 hours.
I think it is a great
Nicole Kidman looks
meditation.
great though.
Yeah.
I was literally hypnotized watching that movie.
I think it is a great meditation on love. And on whether,
Meditation
yes,
on
I think it's.
I don't know about
I
that,
think
but
My
movie
God.
is meditating on on what it means to love someone else. On whether it's a lie, it's a sacrifice, your persona.
Mm-mm.
Let me ask you: do you think Will and Alice love each other? Everybody gives me. I get a whole bunch of different answers when it comes to Eyes Wide Shut.
I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Oh my god!
No.
That's the whole point.
The whole time I was watching that movie, I was like, this
Do
movie's
you think
bad.
Will and Alice love each other?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Maybe.
either.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Oh my god.
How
Eyes
do you
Wide
feel about
Shut
that
is
movie?
valid.
Do you like it?
He doesn't like it.
Exactly.
It's
Strycharski
probably my least favorite Kubrick film. Probably.
It's
You
my
know what
third
my
favorite.
least favorite is?
What?
Full Metal Jacket.
I don't like that movie at all.
Excuse me?
No, I only like
I
Doctor
like
Strangelove.
Metal Full Jacket. I
Only
like
Dr.
Full Metal
Strangelove.
Jacket is 9
You
out of
don't?
10,
Only.
but it's
I
my
only
least
like
favorite
Dr.
Kubrick
Strangelove.
movie.
Have you seen what's that movie called?
Oh yeah, no, that one doesn't even count. You're talking about his first film?
Yeah,
that was
The
garbage?
Killing?
No, is it The Killing?
Is
No,
it
it's called
Spartacus?
Fear. It's called like
No.
Fear.
and Desire.
Fear
Oh,
and
you know
Desire.
what? I haven't seen that.
No, that's a bad movie.
Atrocious.
It's an awful film.
atrocious.
Oh, okay.
It's an awful film.
Alright.
Wow.
Like it's legit. Like thank
Jose,
God someone
how do
gave
you feel
Kubrick a
about
second.
I've never seen Fear.
Alright.
I don't know how he got a second
Jose,
chance.
resident Kubrick lover.
Yeah.
What are your favorite? Dr.
How do you
Strangelove.
feel about Eyes Wide Shut?
How
Because
do-
in your opinion,
Yeah.
that's the time.
Yeah, because you're a Kubrick guy.
It's a lot of people's least favorite.
I haven't given it the same attention I would have given a normal Kubrick film just because he didn't finish it, I guess. That
Yeah.
always threw me off.
Eyes Wide Shut is beautiful.
He finished the
Love
film
is
and he didn't finish.
complicated.
He didn't do the editing.
He didn't do that.
That's what it was.
Acknowledge to yourself
It's not a good movie.
what love actually is.
I wasted 2 hours.
I think.
Stop it.
I think by a long shot, 2001 is his best movie.
No.
I
Yes.
can get through it.
And then
Barry Lyndon.
no, 2001, and then
Strycharski. No, 2001 is actually his best film just because that movie was made in 1960.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, when
Look at that movie,
you know,
bro.
I had actually never seen it in a theater before they did the recent, you know,
Same.
70 millimeter showing.
Akil saw it.
And it's just like in the theater, it's just like it's an incredible
It's epic.
experience.
It
It
is
really,
Can you
it
imagine
really is.
being like 14 years old
Seriously,
and going to the movie
In
1968
Yeah.
and just watching
Yeah.
that damn movie?
That's
Yeah.
Arthur Jafa's story.
Yeah, it's Arthur
C.
Clarke.
Clarke.
No. There's a cinematographer I really like.
Oh, that he
and,
liked 2001.
Yeah, he grew up in the South. I can't remember where, but he saw it in a movie theater, and he said, I didn't even really get it, but it like changed my life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That movie
When I first saw that
Because he was
movie,
like a
I was
kid.
14 years old. I didn't really get it,
Mhm.
but that was like one of my.
Yeah.
But then, it's a movie that I like to revisit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this movie's beautiful.
I have a
it's-
ceiling how many times I can watch it a year though. Like
Oh yeah.
I give it like maybe one or two watches a year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I saw it
Like
twice.
Barry
in-
Lyndon, I
yeah.
can't rewatch.
You can't rewatch.
Mm-mm. It's beautiful, but I can't rewatch it all the way through. I'll start
So
it.
So
just,
here's
like,
the
fast
thing
forward
is
and stuff.
you know we talked about, you know, a little bit. We just skimmed the surface. Maybe we'll go into this more.
That's a
in
guy who
future
never
one.
won Oscars.
But we skimmed the surface of like what's going to happen in terms
Never?
of exhibition and how like all of that is. But you know, one of the things that I think is really great is the number of retrospectives that are being shown these days. You know,
Yeah.
and so you get, you know, 4K restorations. And like, I mean, Detour is going to be shown, but you get the 70 millimeter, you know, print of a restored print of
2001.
or what was it? What did Nolan bill it as? The unrestored or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah,
you know, but of 2001. But there's tons of just retrospectives that are coming around, and you get to see these older films on the big screen.
I know,
like,
I
in these
love that
great
because
versions. It's just
I
like,
never had that opportunity,
right.
and I'm like, and these cinemas, they are dying, and these big movie makers are putting their stuff on Netflix. Like The Irishman Martin Scorsese's, De Niro and Pesci. There's no chance that movie will,
And Al Pacino.
will not get a million people.
Oh, yeah,
and Al Pacino.
Yeah.
And it's got $140 million budget.
Netflix is
And
just
they
like
put it
they're
on
just like
Netflix.
Mr. Burnsing. They're like excellent.
But
I mean, it's just
they're not just like only. It's not only streaming.
Thank God.
They're doing it as what Netflix is doing now. They're getting these movies and they're putting them in theaters.
so that they can be available, so that they can be award.
I purposely,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I purposely went to the cinema to watch Roma.
See, but the thing is a lot of people won't do that, right? So for the Scorsese movie, it'll do the same thing that Roma did, right?
Yeah.
It'll show for a week or two, and then its run will be done.
I
and
disagree.
Then you do you?
If a movie's worth it, I'm gonna go see it in theaters.
I think.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
You know
it's
why-
part of the experience.
you know-
it's a
Yeah.
front. You take
Right.
take a girl with you or a boy with you, or
Because
you take the
watching it
family
on
with
your
you.
cell phone after a while, you're just like, nah, and you can't give it the attention it deserves that way. Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Dude,
What
if I
I
had
feel
a
like-
theater, I would make it a salon. I would have people talking about movies in there all day.
What I feel like with like more like art house. Well, not even I use art house for everything, but more independent movies, like smaller budget movies that are made by like Scorsese and other like really good directors. I feel like if they go to Netflix and like Netflix puts them on like their front page and they're promoting this movie, they want people to watch it. I think if Netflix does that and it's like a really good movie, that I think that makes people fans of that director or these actors that they've never seen given a chance before. If they're promoting it like that, that's a lot of people that have their eyes glued on the movie now. That's bringing more viewers. So I feel like when that director or whoever makes another movie and it comes out in theaters, that'll give them more incentive to maybe go out and see the movie.
Or if anything, even though it is behind a paywall, like subscription, it kind of levels out the playing field just a little bit, because then a lot of people don't have the time where they access go to the movie theaters.
I think
so then you can actually watch.
Tarantino was actually talking about this, and I know Akil has seen everything related to Tarantino that exists on the internet,
And
so
Paul Thomas Anderson.
he'll probably interject halfway through. But Tarantino has a story, I think, where I believe it was Luc Besson, the guy who made Taken and The Fifth Element, and he
Colombiana too.
and
Born
like
Sexy yesterday.
Tarantino was, if you didn't know, wanted to get into TV instead. He wanted to make a teleseries, and then Luc Besson, he was telling him about that, and he was just like, "Oh, what a shame." And then Tarantino was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know, bro. Your movies are like the ones that these French. I don't know, bro. Your movies are the ones that I want to go to the cinema to watch. It's the experience. You're one of the few people." I think he told.
You gave him
imagine
that accent.
Imagine being told that as a director. You're one of the few people that I want to go to the cinema to watch for the experience, and I sympathize with Bresson there. But for a lot of other people, because I like movies and good movies and bad movies. Bad movies are fun too. But
yeah. I mean, bad movies can be a lot of fun. Which get all right.
I mean, there's theater showcases of The Room still all the time, and people love to go and watch them together.
I can't watch
I've
them.
never
I
seen
can't do it. I can't do it. I don't get people's like.
It's fun as
I
a
might
meme,
watch it
but it's not. But beyond that, it's just like I don't.
On the subject of Oscars, I wanted to see. Can you look up Kubrick's nominations and wins on his IMDb page? It'll have his.
We
Oscar
really don't want
noms.
to talk about this
Wins.
current year that's before us.
Well, this current year sucks.
We've avoided
So-
it.
Well, all
We're
right.
talking
So,
about the other
so
ones.
let's talk about the fact.
Snubs.
Let's talk about Snubs then. I mean, let's talk about the fact that not a single woman got nominated for best director.
That's a big one.
And
we have the woman who made You Were Never Really Here.
Lynn Ramsey.
Why'd you put it me?
Because that's in your top five.
Oh, yeah. I
that's
love
one
that
of your,
movie,
that's
yeah.
one of your top movies of the year. And it's like,
Akil loves Joaquin Phoenix.
That's probably
That's
my favorite
probably comes
actor
from
right
Paul
now.
Thomas Anderson. But
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
yeah.
From
Yeah.
The Master.
Yeah.
I love The Master. Oh my god, so good. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I think I'm gonna name my first kid Joaquin.
His only win, his only Oscar win
he only has one win.
Yeah.
What was it?
for best effects, special visual effects for
2001.
Yeah.
Look at that. Nominated to nothing after. And
Joaquin-
he's American.
He's been
This
nominated.
guy's American. He's making
Joaquin
billions of
Phoenix deserved the Best Actor nom for The Master over Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln.
Whoa.
2019 Oscars.
Chill, because Daniel Day-Lewis,
No, I'm
the
not.
best actor.
It was pretty good.
The best
But-
actor in the movie Lincoln is Tommy Lee Jones, and that's because Daniel Day-Lewis isn't in that movie. They went back in time and they got Abraham Lincoln, and they just put that Daniel Day-Lewis in the credit.
Now that's like in this movie.
And they said that's who he is. But can you believe that Kubrick was never nominated? Was he nominated?
No, he was nominated.
Oh, he didn't win. There's no chance there's something better than Barry Lyndon in 1975. There's no chance, like, at least that. Or 1971, I think that's Patton. There's no chance that's better than A Clockwork Orange. Or there's people doing better directors or better cinematography. Maybe Andrei Tarkovsky, but that guy won't even get nominated at the Oscars because he's a Soviet.
Right.
Yeah,
At least
but
back then he
deserved
was.
it.
Oh, yeah, of course he
Oh,
deserved it,
God.
bro. Of Tarkovsky's, what did he make? Like 10 movies? Maybe less? No, he made about 10. Of his 10 movies, every single one would sweep for cinematography every year. It's like
Really?
It's
Have
like
you
the.
seen his short of the Killers?
No, I haven't.
Didn't you say it was
It's just-
terrible?
It's a student film.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
you told me that. Yeah,
yeah,
his student
yeah.
film is like really bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah, well,
It's
so
like-
is Kubrick's.
Well, I mean, because it's like it really gives. It's something I presented it right as something to give anyone hope because it's like you start with this like absolutely horrible
Yeah.
thing.
Along that same line-
and then you become
When-
Andrei Tarkovsky.
You
Along
gotta start
that-
somewhere.
Along that same line, when I say Fear and Desire is an awful film,
Mhm.
it's an awful film. Like it's an objectively awful.
And it
film.
tries to be a comedy too.
Yeah.
And that's
it
not even
tries to
good.
have that poignant wit, that Kubrick, that irony
Mhm.
that Kubrick is known.
It tries
for.
to.
Mhm.
and it doesn't. It falls flat.
It's like
Completely
it's
flat.
like a crappy Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it. If Doctor Strangelove got everything wrong, that's what that movie
But yeah,
is.
if you're out
Instead of
there
just
and
having
you want to
the-
make
yeah,
films,
exactly.
if you're out there and you want to make films, Tarkovsky and Kubrick, who are like in almost everyone's top 5, in terms of like composition at least, at the very least, their first films are considered garbage.
Mhm.
Like
And that is another word of the day.
garbage. Yeah,
Words of motivation.
but I think it's part political because the Academy Awards obviously can be political, and Tarkovsky
They're
was a
very
Soviet.
political.
They're very political.
Very
Of
political.
course.
And
As art
Tarkovsky-
often is.
And Tarkovsky was a Soviet, at least at the time, because he defected in the 80s.
Right.
He defected to Italy, made 2 films, and died of lung cancer.
The other one was in Sweden, though.
What, Nostalgia or
The Sacrifice.
The Sacrifice was in
Yeah.
Sweden? Yeah. I guess, yeah. Sweden's the place to go for filmmakers who get exiled.
Yeah.
Is it?
Roman Polanski.
They took him in?
Yeah, I believe
Every
he's in
day I
Sweden.
find new ways to hate that.
He's been in Sweden for what, 30 years now?
No, he's in Paris.
He's in Paris?
Yeah.
I thought he was in Sweden.
That's where exiled Poles go. is Paris.
Exactly.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, here's my favorite joke about French movies.
What?
Here's how it goes. It's like, have you seen the one with the old man and the young girl? It's very simple.
Well, Godard said himself, all you need to make a good film is a girl and a gun. I think he's right. I
It's
think
not the
that's
same
correct.
thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's the
I-
same thing she's talking about.
Yeah, I'm
Well, I
joking.
mean, if you're French, you're gonna put a young girl, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying, of course, they will welcome with open arms. And like, yeah, we do that shit too.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The age of consent in France is
I
probably
don't-
like, what, 14, 15? Something like that.
I mean, if you watch the movies, I guess that's the sense you would get.
Yeah, that's definitely what the understanding you would get. But yeah, there's also
I'm
like,
sorry.
there's, in terms of Oscars, I was thinking of guys, what should have won, but didn't win. And Goodfellas was one of them. What was, for Best Picture '94? I mean,
The Master wasn't even nominated for Best Picture.
that's a huge snub. Right
What
there.
else was nominated the year
The
that
Handmaiden
Gladiator?
deserved an Oscar nomination. And
The
it didn't get
Handmaiden?
one.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, I was like, where?
What
Why
year
is
was
anyone talking about
Gladiator?
Yeah, what year was Gladiator? Something besides Gladiator should have won.
2000, 2001, something like that.
Sorry about your
Joaquin
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Phoenix
Yeah.
love there, Keel, but
That was before he was.
Yeah, but I
then
don't-
Crouching
he didn't
Tiger,
really
Hidden
deserve
Dragon was nominated the same year. You know, so that
I
was,
love kung
that
fu
was,
movies.
That was at least better
Really?
than.
Kung Fu is my favorite genre.
I know.
I love Kung Fu.
I know.
Yeah,
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
man, that thing definitely didn't get nominated for anything.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Got
it got
Best
nominated
Picture.
for Best Picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nominated in the same year as
It's-
Gladiator. I remember that. But what
A
else? was
foreign
nominated
film,
that
a
year?
foreign kung fu
Was
film
it-
got nominated for Best
Was
Picture.
it?
The other Best Picture nominees were Chocolat,
All right.
Juliet
What else? What else?
Aaron Brockovich.
Aaron Brockovich.
Oh my god.
All right.
And Traffic.
Traffic's a good movie. I like Traffic.
That's a good
Yeah.
animation.
I forgot the guy who made Traffic recently made another film that I remember being like, oh, it's the guy who made Traffic.
Yeah. All right.
Let me
Wait,
see
is
what
that the
it
ensemble film
Is
Yeah.
that Claire Denis?
where the
No,
cop
that's
like
Juliette Binoche.
like finger rapes the black lady?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What black lady?
Soderbergh.
Steven
right.
Soderbergh.
Yeah.
Oh, the iPhone guy.
Because he made the remake of I think it's him anyways. He's
The
the one who
iPhone
made the
guy?
remake of
Wait.
Solaris.
Are you talking about the movie?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's right.
Yeah.
Soderbergh is the guy that made Florida Project, right?
No,
No.
that's something Baker, Sean Baker.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm tripping.
Yeah,
I'm tripping out.
it's Maya Alexander, and I forgot the name of the other actress.
Dude, you know what else? Villeneuve has been snubbed a lot from winning. I think Arrival was the best film that year, but it's sci-fi. Obviously, the Academy Awards have some.
Yeah, they
Some-
hate sci-fi.
They hate
movies.
sci-fi
Sicario.
for some reason. Sicario. That was my best film of 2015 too.
So good.
Villeneuve made it. So Villeneuve has done the best for me twice, and I don't think Sicario was even nominated, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? With Arrival, I would have been because it was the same year as Moonlight. I would have been okay
Yeah.
with Moonlight or Arrival.
I would have been okay with those.
Yeah.
Moonlight is a deceptively simple,
That
profound
deserves
movie.
cinematography, and
I
also
know.
Beale Street does too.
There's this thing.
Beale Street deserves cinematography.
There's this thing about
You know, I'm
being
not crazy
simple
about
yet
cinematography.
profound.
In
It's
Moonlight?
kind of cliche,
No.
but
In
Moonlight's
Beale
like,
Street?
Yeah.
like the blues.
You don't like it?
You know, the blues
The
music,
cinematography. is okay.
simple yet
I
profound.
thought it was pretty good.
Oh, we're having that cross
Yeah.
conversation.
Oh yeah.
Listen to them talk about
Beale Street.
Yeah, because that movie it's slap. Oh, and also
So what's
Kiki May
what are
deserves
the
Best
what are the
Actress.
cinematography nominees? There's Beale Street.
She's
Cold
not there
War.
at all. They didn't consider her
Cold War is really good.
Oh, Beale Street's not nominated.
for cinematography. That's what I mean.
Wow.
It deserves to be at least considered
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that they snap.
So
There's a lot of
Roma,
mistakes this
Cold
year.
War. What else is in cinematography? Because it's an interesting category. I remember.
The Favorite.
Favorite.
I love the cinematography.
I hope the favorite wins some big award.
So
have to
you
watch
didn't
it.
feel like the Fisheye Lens was overdone in the Favorite?
No,
No,
no.
No spoilers, please.
I'm not. Before going into the movie, I was like, they're gonna overdo this fisheye bull.
It
crap.
didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
reason it wouldn't win is because of all the Barry Lyndon comparisons. It's like you can't do a timepiece with a wide angle
yeah.
like that
Yeah.
and just be like, oh, he's copying Kubrick. But it's just like,
But it's not.
You know what's
It's not,
funny?
it's not.
You know what's
No.
funny? I was like looking at an interview of him Yorgos. He said he didn't watch Barry Lyndon at all while preparing for this movie.
Good.
because he
right.
said he
And it
knew.
should. It's
yeah.
not. It's not at all like Barry Lyndon.
Yeah.
It's
Yorgos,
like-
Yorgos gets snubbed all the time.
Yeah.
I think Dogtooth and Lobster were great.
What else? What else is
Never
nominated?
Look
for
Away.
Yeah.
Never looked
Anyone
away.
seen
No.
that?
No.
A Star is Born.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Stars Born had good cinematography.
I think there was good cinematography too. I thought that the way that the camera like put you on the stage during like it gave you the experience
You
of
know
being a
what
drunk
it
rock
was
star,
about A
you know?
Star Is
You know,
You know
I
what it
think
was
did that
about
well.
A Star Is Born that I thought was creatively really well done? The editing. But there was a particular, I guess, motif or trope that they used in the editing where it's like, what they did in The Star Is Born is that all of the conflicts rose,
Mm-hmm.
cut briefly, and then the resolution to the conflict was what was showcased in the next scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that a lot.
Mhm.
Like they would get mad, he would break something, cut, they're on the floor.
Mhm.
Or he would get drunk, he'd do something bad, cut, something's up.
Mhm.
Or they would be falling in love and kissing, cut, they're in the bed.
Mhm.
And I thought that those like really sharp cuts in
Mhm.
that editing, moving the narrative,
Mhm.
I thought it was a brilliant showcase of directing.
Yeah.
So kudos to Bradley Cooper
Yeah.
because, I don't know why.
Isn't that why we had this conversation before? Isn't that
Yeah.
why you like compared it to No Country?
Yeah, because No Country does
Has that
that.
similar editing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he goes in the
Mhm.
house and
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Cut.
No Country.
the cause and
Like
effect.
the way, right? The,
is
the,
cut.
the way that it cuts the
Down the
violence
middle.
so
Yeah.
frequently,
Yeah.
I mean, is really well done.
And-
But since you mentioned Park Chan-wook earlier, I mean, it's like that's one of the things.
I
that
was literally
he-
just about to say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was literally
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
about to.
Yeah.
He does that in every movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that was a brilliant way to move the narrative, especially dealing with this guy. Maybe alcoholism was like the reason for it, because obviously that's a memory thing.
Yeah.
I don't,
Bradley
I
Cooper
don't think
with
so
a deep voice.
while watching it, but I thought it was really good at conveying the emotions. It was just juxtaposing these two scenes. It It was.
There was
it was
there's
a well-directed
lot,
film.
I agree. I think there's a lot about the crafting of that film that's really, really well done. I agree.
Yeah. So kudos to Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
A
Who didn't get nominated, right?
for best director.
He didn't get nominated for best director.
But Vice and
Which,
Green
if
Book.
you
Yeah,
were,
so I mean, I
Do
kind
you
of
think you deserve that?
Yes.
Yes.
Over Vice and Green Book.
yeah. I mean,
Over Vice and Green
yeah.
Book, sure, but like not.
I mean,
in any
I
other
wouldn't.
way.
I would switch.
I hated.
I would
Vice.
switch the nominations. I would take it out of Best Picture and put him in for Best
All a
Director.
comedy man has to do is get serious, and then he's an auteur.
We have to talk about.
Bradley Cooper's not a comedy guy.
Yes, he is. He's the Hangover.
He's been in comedy.
But he's also
movies.
in English literature, like Big Dog. He went to Georgetown for English
Yeah, but
literature.
he's still a comedy man in the public's
Nope.
imagination.
Not
But
really.
that's
He was
not
a
his
serious
fault.
actor.
That's
He
your
was-
fault.
Because
That wasn't my fault.
his work
You're
with
putting
Bill
him in the
Russell,
box.
with
It's
David
all the
Russell.
fault of Dag of the Intern.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dog
do
of the
not
intern.
relevate to this internship. We are all interns.
You act like he's Seth Rogen and like doing stand-up comedy.
He's on the same level as.
No, because he did work with David
What?
O. Russell. He did American Hustle,
Mhm.
and he's done Silver Linings Playbook, which, they have these kind of comedic tones in them, but those are serious films. At least serious enough for the Academy Awards to consider
He
them
does.
legit.
He does Rocket's voice.
He does Rocket's voice. He's
You
my
know,
favorite actor in the whole MCU. Him and
I,
Vin Diesel.
I think it's more than just like a comic actor turning serious. That like I think it's like the skill with which he directed that.
Absolutely.
I'm not like a huge fan of the story itself and the screenplay. Is like okay, but I think that his directing of the movie is
Especially for a
pretty
first-time director.
So you mentioned Green Book. We have to talk about
No, we
Oscar
don't.
bait.
No, we
We
don't.
have to
We
talk
can
about
act like that movie didn't exist because
We-
I forgot it existed until I found out it
Yeah,
was
I think we can
nominated
just.
for
I
things.
think we can pretend that.
We
movie
have to
is-
talk about Oscar bait.
And now I no longer like Vigo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
What movie made you not like Vigo?
The way
Vigo's
he's
so
been
likable.
talking about it and defending the bullshit that is that movie is.
That's true.
Well,
He's
he
showing
has to. He's
Okay,
it's like that's
okay,
part
white
of
men actors. I don't know if you guys heard about Liam Neeson. Y'all been.
the, Yeah,
They've been
of
showing
course,
out.
Yes.
They've been saying things that they could have just kept to themselves.
Yeah, but Liam
They-
Neeson here, Vigo's like right here. That's
For
not
you?
even for like comparing what they're
Oh, what they're
what
doing?
they're talking about.
Yeah, but both times it's like you could have just been quiet.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Especially Liam Neeson.
Oh,
They didn't even ask him.
No one asked
This
him
one,
anything.
So how was your day? I wanted to kill a black guy.
It didn't matter who.
You expect that coming out of someone like Charles Bronson,
I actually saw that coming from Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
Ever since I was a child
So,
watching
it's
Taken, I
not
was like,
shocking. It's
Look
not
up
shocking.
the 2006 Best Picture because Crash won. I like Crash, but I think Crash
What?
is Oscar bait.
What?
I wasn't
No,
to watch
wait.
that.
Crash is
No.
so bad.
Crash
It's
is
like
the-
the Soderbergh Crash.
Wait. I'm getting
That
Crash
Crash
and
is-
Traffic confused.
No, Traffic is Soderbergh.
Soderbergh did.
That's good.
Did the Crash that was about like people who had an erotic obsession with automobile accidents.
Not that.
That was fucking awesome. That
Okay.
was great.
Which was the movie?
But
I think
The
it was
Crash-
racist movie, the one with the racist cop.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
that,
I-
We have
that
to
is
be-
such a horrible movie.
That's what I was
like-
thinking of.
Yeah,
You guys lied
that's
to me.
Oscar bait.
I'm just always
I think it's a
saying
good movie, but I don't think it's the best.
What?
Picture. What is
Crash
it?
was the one where he fingered the black lady
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he was
Oh
arrested,
my
and then
God.
saved her from the burning car at the end, or some bullcrap.
Right.
I have the magic blanket, and the bullet is a
Cinema.
blank.
Yeah.
Cinema.
Spoiler alert. But
So that year, Crash beat out Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's all you have to say.
Capote.
Good night, good night, and good luck, and Munich.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
Munich.
And
god.
what?
Munich.
Oh.
That wasn't even
Brokeback
one. Of,
Mountain.
And I love
That-
and Brokeback Mountain.
that was the worst movie you listed.
That was the worst movie you listed.
Munich?
No, Crash.
Crash.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
And it won?
that was a shameful year. That was a
Oh my
shameful
God.
year. Everyone knows that.
That's another Green Book.
To me,
Exactly.
that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. That,
Yeah.
that's
The
that
Academy
Oscar
loves
bait.
that kind of movie, and that's why I'm thinking Green Book has a real chance at like
my
beating
God.
Roma for the Oscar this year.
Is there any question that Roma's going to win Best
Roma
Picture?
does not deserve to win, though.
It's
compared to the
It
Compar-
seems like the
compared
obvious
to
no
the nominees.
Shoplifters deserves to
I
win.
liked. Wait, is
And
Wall
House
Street
That Jack
Best
does.
Picture?
You're obsessed
Yeah.
with House to Jack.
Damn it. Let me see. Jack. Because I actually don't remember these
and First Reformed.
I'm telling you, those nominations are terrible.
But yeah, Munich
No,
is definitely the best film in
No,
that
she's
lineup
not.
to me.
Uh,
Because I think Munich is like I find Munich to be a very brave film.
I mean,
'Cause you know
don't you
Spielberg.
guys have faith in The Favorite winning?
Yes.
I think that's the best movie listed.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
then
think it's the
let's
best
not,
movie
let's
listed,
not
too.
mention Roma then, because that movie is.
Okay.
But they're gonna give it to
Yeah,
Roma.
but it's not. I mean, yeah.
That it's
Roma
also.
doesn't deserve it.
You
I mean,
say
a lot
so.
of movies, and also the Academy is not legitimate. I'm getting caught up. In
Yeah,
some
that's
of them.
true, too.
Right. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you can't take the Oscars too seriously. I think the
Yeah.
Oscars are a great opportunity to like
Talk about
mess.
movies, but it's like you can't take the
You
Oscars
can't see
too
it as the
seriously.
standard
No.
end all be all.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't be too invested in the
What
award
else?
system.
What other Oscar bait has come out? I mean, Crash won, so that's like the Oscar bait wins.
Oh my god, the worst movie
Driving Miss
nominated
Daisy
one.
Because Driving Miss Daisy.
Driving Miss
You know,
Daisy,
Do the
yeah.
right thing.
Oh yeah, Do the Right Thing wasn't
Snub.
even nominated.
Neither was Boogie
Here
Nights.
comes Do the Right Thing. That's actually this great. I'm gonna use the word, I guess, meditation on urban society. And here comes Driving Miss Daisy, winning Best Picture. And
Is that not the ultimate, like, you're gonna have to bleep me out, fuck you, to, like, blackness?
That's what I'm saying. It's the ultimate
Jesus.
fuck you to blackness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look up the year for Driving Miss Daisy and let's see the other noms.
Isn't that Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, it's more.
Exactly. See what I was
Miss
talking
Daisy.
about? It all comes to the
It
head.
all comes together.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the thing is, when the Academy does it, and a lot of people feel like this, they're just being disingenuous
So
or ungenuine.
wait, is he being what are we talking about now?
Oscar bait and how they win.
Oh. So like this year, you know, I was having a conversation with my friend Ruben Rosario. Shout out to you, Miami film critic and member of the Florida Film Critic Circle. But anyway, I was saying that it's possible that Roma and Green Book split like the vote, and then something else manages to sneak in as a result of that.
The favorite.
That's very true.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. That's very true. I think that might happen actually. You think
I think it's an outside possibility, but I think it's possible. I actually think Roma's going to win. You know, but I think the second most likely win would be Green Book.
So what was?
I'd
what
be
was
very happy
nominated
if the favorite.
in that
I'd be like, okay.
I'd be
awesome.
delighted.
Driving
Yeah,
Miss Daisy year.
So Driving Miss Daisy, Born on the 4th of July, Dead Poets Society.
I like that movie.
You like what?
Dead Poets Society.
Oh my God! Really?
I like
Oh,
I've never
Captain,
seen
my
it.
Captain.
Oh God! Oh man!
Okay, no, I'm playing.
That's like the Driving Miss Daisy of English teachers right there.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh man!
What
That
else?
is a statement.
Oh,
Damn. You just did work.
Oh.
Dead Poets Society.
Oh.
What else is there?
Field
Ethan
of
Hawke.
Dreams.
I like that movie too.
My Left Foot.
Oh, My Left Foot. I was actually
Those
gonna
are
talk about
those are
this
all just sort of like
because
humanist, like celebrations of humanism. You know.
welcome to the late '80s.
I mean,
film.
maybe not so much more on the 4th of July, but even that ends up kind of like
There's
So-
because Daniel Day-Lewis, I know, won Best Actor for that movie. And Daniel Day-Lewis, we're gonna start comparing actors like sports winners. Like Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowl rings, so he's clearly the best. Daniel Day-Lewis has 3 Best Actor wins.
One of
He
the
has-
greatest actors of
He
all
has
time.
more than
Yeah,
anybody.
that's
That's
fine.
he really,
Look up
he
people
is-
with the most Best Actor wins. Because
Yeah.
I know Tom Hanks has 2. Tom Hanks has one from Forrest Gump and one from Philadelphia. He's got like back-to-backs. And Tom Hanks doesn't come off to me as
I
like
think
best.
I think
He's a good
Machine-
actor.
He's very much he's like the Steven Spielberg
He's
of
very
actors.
much,
Yeah,
and
you
they
know?
work
Yes.
together all the
That
time.
was very apt.
Mm.
Very apt.
It was very apt. I like that. And yeah.
Okay, so
And DiCaprio doesn't win.
Daniel Day-Lewis is the only one that holds the 3.
He has
He
the
only
most.
has 3.
Yeah, he has the most.
And
But then you
there's-
have Jack Nicholson has 2 Best Actors
And
and
Denzel
3 supporting
Washington.
actors.
So he's got Cuckoo's Nest, and what's his other one?
As good as it gets for.
Yeah, as good as it gets.
Oh man, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's because he's gay and blind. So he.
Oh,
Oscar bait.
So Oscar bait.
Oscar bait.
What is Glory? I've seen
And what's
True
his-
today, but I haven't seen Glory.
Oh, Glory is the one where isn't Glory? That's the
Isn't Oprah in
the
that?
Civil
the,
War.
the Black
film.
Regiment in the
The
Civil
Black,
War.
yeah,
right?
yeah, the 53rd Regiment,
Yeah.
where they all died.
I
Yeah.
hate
He won for that
historical
movie?
movies. Yeah.
He won for that film.
And
That's
then he
interesting.
won for
So-
King Kong and got shit on me.
Oh, yeah, he won for Training Day.
That
He
part,
was good in
I'm
Training.
in love with that part. That
He-
part
You
of the
are?
movie. Yeah,
He's-
I
love
like
that
it
part.
too.
He's
I
great
always
in Training
laugh
Day.
at
Because
it.
it's improvised.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That- Denzel, he's
But
Dude,
that
Denzel
movie-
is a great actor.
Great
And
actor.
he's just got
That's a conversation
charisma
for another
up the
day.
ass, bro.
He really does.
I saw a
for sure.
picture of Denzel and Will Smith in the early 90s in the same room, and I'm like, oh my god.
Wait,
bro.
what's the Spike Lee bank robbery movie?
Which one?
Huh?
No, not that.
Inside
Not
Inside Man.
Inside Man.
Inside Man, yeah. That's not a bad movie.
That's
Yeah,
that's
number-
that's,
That's
like-
his other good movie, to me.
A
What?
rare post 1997 good movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's just a good Hollywood movie. You
Yeah.
know, it's not like a Spike Lee movie.
Yeah, I
That's
saw a picture of like Denzel and Will Smith in the same room in the mid 90s,
You
and
think Will Smith's a good actor?
I think he has charisma up the ass. Is what I'm
I think
saying.
he's like the black
Can you
Tom
imagine
Cruise.
Denzel and Will Smith together? Like, hide your kids, hide your
But he's a
wife.
better actor.
Like,
Charisma
I don't think
wise.
Will Smith's a good actor.
No,
I don't think he's a good actor, but
No.
bro, he's unhateable. That guy can light up a room.
I love the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but he's not a good actor.
No, I don't think he's a good
He's not a bad actor.
Westfield.
He's also never been-
Concussion, that accent.
Oh yeah, didn't he get nominated?
No.
Tell the truth.
No, he's
Tell the truth.
Philly in the
Tell me.
house.
Exactly.
Represent
Exactly.
Overbrook Park here.
He didn't even look African.
He got nominated
Not
for
at
that
all.
movie.
No, we are all Africans. Come on, Nikhil.
You know what I mean?
We are all out of Africa.
Yeah.
He got just once, yeah, a long time ago. He got nominated for concussion. I'm pretty sure he got.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
No, he got snubbed, and then
You know,
Jada wanted us to divest
That was
from the award
that was
system.
how we got the Oscars so white movement because Will Smith didn't get nominated for
Was
concussion.
that was that the
That was the trigger.
That was the same year it
That
happened.
was the
but
trigger.
wasn't
Wow,
the trigger
that's-
I'm pretty sure that
necessarily.
was the trigger.
No, because the woman that created it just looked at the general whiteness of it all, and then Will and Jada jumped onto it as well, because that's what rich people
okay.
do.
I guess.
Yeah,
People-
Gaga is just a revolutionary here. He's here for the intersectional workers' revolution.
That's not what I want. I just
It is
want
coming down. All business
the
owners
art
beware.
of cinema to kind of remove itself from the machinations of capitalism.
Well then,
That's all.
Impossible.
you have the French New Wave
What's
before.
well, you've got Soviet cinema.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah.
You got Soviets. You got who made Come and See?
If it takes
Oh,
money to make
speaking of-
something,
Speaking of revolutionary cinema, I know that Jose will be
You're
interested
right.
in the fact that there is a recently restored version of. Yeah, so there you go.
A restored version
It is.
of.
Of,
You built it up too
why can't I remember the name of the
What
Cuban memories of underdevelopment? Yeah, there's a newly restored version of that that's come out recently, and I know that
I
you're a
hear
fan of that movie.
Cuban
So.
cinema is like up there, like underrated. I'm Cuban. I've only seen like Viva Cuba.
Mhm.
It's like one of the only Cuban movies I've seen. But I hear Cuban cinema is like one of the tops.
I should be more familiar with
I
Cuban
know.
cinema
That's how
living
I
in
feel.
Miami, but it's just like, for some reason I just don't know it.
Yeah. All the Cubans here are not gonna acknowledge
No, they're not. No, they are
the
not.
state-sponsored.
Yeah, but Memories of Underdevelopment is a film that's like that's. I mean, it's that rare thing, that creature that people on both sides of the revolutionary divide are admire, right?
Yeah.
I think like all those countries that like don't have like big like a lot of eyes on their cinema. I think it's coming soon. I think Cuba's eventually gonna have a new wave. I think a lot of those African countries, you don't see a lot of like African movies
What
made
is
by
that?
like black Africans. Most of the movies that come out of Africa that like
Yes, you
get
do. People
acclaim.
just don't value
What
that.
is the?
I'm talking about the ones that's not true. If it's good, it's good. The ones that get acclaim, the ones that
Yeah.
get money behind them over in Africa are the ones like by like the white South Africans and stuff like that. You never really see like black
There's
African
Abdulrahman
directors.
Sissoko. These are all old.
You're only gonna be
guys.
able to name a handful.
You also.
I'm gonna
like,
stop you early.
I don't think it'll happen this year with Roma. At least I hope not. But there are years where like certain films run the table, where they just win everything.
There's
Like we're
another
going to
thing.
talk about the big five. Look
Okay,
up.
so let's talk about the big five. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're going to have our little interesting bi-weekly segment, which is Dr. Strycharski's social security number.
Okay.
So,
we go.
every week, if you want to steal Dr.
Make it hard for them this week, though.
If you want to steal Dr. Strycharski's identity, you're going to have to tune in and listen to us talk about movies. So today, Dr. Strycharski...
Stop.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the FBI calling us right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is
So,
well timed.
They're
This
like,
week,
stop!
this week in Dr. Strycharski's social security number, it is
5.
so 5. Be sure to tune in next week to the next one, but 5, meaning the Big 5. And if you didn't know, winning the Big 5 at the Academy Awards, which is Best Actor, Best Actress, Original or Adapted Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Picture, is supposed to be like the sign, the medal of you had the best movie. You just blew everybody out of the water. The Academy didn't get voter fatigue. You made it, you know. So the first one that I know off the top of my head is Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I love that movie.
What else won it?
And I love Jonathan Demme.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
And It Happened One Night.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened. Oh yeah, it happened one night with Clark Gable, which is a great movie.
No Country almost got it, but Daniel Day-Lewis kicked down a door and ruined it for him.
For There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Really?
Colbert.
Yeah.
That comes up a lot.
There's so look up the year that It Happened One Night ran the table, because I remember looking that up.
1934.
Yeah, I remember looking that up and being like, that there's a better film here. I mean, also Vigo's L'Atlanta.
L'Atlanta.
At all times to not use my cultural appropriate.
Use your
Yeah,
French accent.
L'Atlanta.
Yeah. There's no.
That's a 34 production. Clark Gable, man, rest in peace. That guy died before my dad was born.
Did he really?
He died in 1959.
Yeah, it
1960.
was before I was born.
And he is a legend.
Yeah.
A legend.
But who are we talking about?
Clark Gable.
Oh. I thought you were talking about
My grandmother.
the guy that made how do you say it?
Oh, Jean
Vigo.
Vigo.
Yeah, didn't he die
He
after
died
one
at
movie?
he died at like 34 or
He
something.
made that one movie and died.
He ushered in.
Basically, yeah.
He
We
ushered
made
in.
2 movies and died.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
but that was the only feature length film
Yeah.
he made. Yeah.
He ushered in literally the beginning of the French cinema, and then died.
Mhm.
Well, not Renoir.
Poetic
Renoir.
realism.
Yeah, poetic realism.
Mhm.
If you take Andrew Strycharski's film class, interested in
history
the history of
yeah.
film,
Mhm.
you
A great course.
a great course.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic course. A well-run course. Just be ready to watch a movie every day, or every 2 days.
Every week.
Plus
Yeah,
plus
that's
you
just
get-
like 2 movies a week.
It's
Two
two
movies a
movies
week.
Yeah.
You have
It's
the
not hard.
long
And it's
weekend.
enjoyable. You
Yeah,
get
and they're
to see
good movies.
Stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever like pick different movies like Kurosawa, like get Rashomon out because
Oh yeah, I change the list frequently. You know?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's like the year that Daga took the course, there were no women directors.
No, they were not.
Yeah. So it's like.
and we
you know.
had Daisies,
I had grief.
and we also had Agnes Varda.
Mm-hmm. And
we had Cleo from 5 to 7.
Wow.
And
Who else did we have?
there's something else. There's no.
I would have never seen In the Mood for Love. I probably would have kept putting
I
it
love
off.
that movie.
Because
so
I think a
much.
lot
love
of
that
people
movie.
talk about Wong Kar-wai and they're
Yeah.
like, I love Wong Kar-wai.
Right.
But they just reblogged the photos
That movie got
Tumblr. And
that
that's
movie
it.
got nominated for Academy Awards.
Movies.
Look up In the Mood for Love.
And I hate romantic movies, but I
When I'm
love that
feeling
movie so
masochistic,
much.
I watch that movie. It's my favorite love movie.
That's just like yeah.
Dude,
I mean
it
that's just
just
like my
gets the
romantic
angst.
heart just is
Burst.
It just
Oh,
understands
so
the
good.
angst.
I
It
like
is
Yeah.
that forbidden fruit film.
Yeah.
That is just like,
Mm.
God damn. And then the follow-up, 2046, where it's like you cannot rekindle the original passion.
Right.
And it's so true.
It's
not possible.
And
that
and,
stuff
and,
doesn't
and
happen.
it's like 2046 tries to rekindle the cinematic passion of In the Mood for Love, and it doesn't do it. And it's like, man, I want to go back and watch In the Mood for Love.
Yeah.
But 2046 is a fascinating movie.
I love those movies.
And as I was recently reminded, it's a Christmas movie, so I put that on your Christmas movie list.
Yeah, just right next to Die Hard.
Yeah, right next to that. And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I love Kiss Kiss Bang
Yeah.
Bang.
He has a movie that came out, I believe, right before In Mood for Love that I did not
Yeah, it's
like.
part of the trilogy.
No.
Not
Wait,
the
maybe
one right before.
maybe it was
As
before the
Tears Go
trilogy.
By?
As Tears Go By is the 1993.
What happens in the one you're talking about?
It was a couple, and they like everything's shot on like a wide angle lens.
Is it Chungking Express?
No, it's not Chunking Express.
Days of Being Wild.
I think it's called Fallen Angels.
Yeah, Fallen Angels.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's a really weird movie. I wasn't a fan.
Japanese dude as lead actor. I think his name is Takashi Kaneshiro.
But everything was shot on a super wide
What was
lens,
that,
and
In the
everything was
Mood for
warped,
Love?
and I just didn't get what was going on.
Wasn't nominated for any Oscar.
Yeah, In the Mood for Love. Not nominated for anything.
It's really
That's
bad.
like one of the best films of the past 20 years.
Oh, I started this and I couldn't follow through with it.
Fallen Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Man. I love the composition, man. I love color,
I do want to see
In
Chunking
film.
Express.
like the complementary.
Like when it's done effectively.
Yeah.
You know,
And I was
that-
mentioning it in your class and everything. The green and red, the violet and
yeah.
yellow. It's
Mhm.
just it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Every shot is a work of art, man. The frames and frames.
Okay, so what does this have to do with the Oscars then?
That In the Mood for Love was not nominated.
Oh,
It is
okay.
another snub.
Well, I mean, we can go through the entire history
I
of
know.
cinema and name all the great
And then
movies that were
explain-
It's like, if
nominated.
In the Mood for
National
Love was in
implications as to
2019,
why.
why couldn't In the Mood for Love just
So
have been
Big
released
Five.
this
So
year?
the
Yeah,
Big Five. We've got we you know it's 3 movies have won the Big Five, right?
But then you have other movies like Titanic that have won 11, but they didn't win the Big Five.
Titanic.
But Titanic.
Oh,
What else was
man.
nominated in 1997?
just
Best
like
Picture.
what?
That's a year. That's a bad year.
I can't do it.
Everyone's done it so many times.
Yeah.
Titanic?
Yeah.
Can't do it.
It's not a good movie.
What else? Was
Sorry,
nominated?
James Cameron.
Did Celine Dion win?
Probably.
She
It
had
has
to,
11 wins.
She had to win. She
And,
had to.
I mean,
Yeah.
And DiCaprio
She
is
had to
winning
win.
Best
Celine
Actor.
Dion, like winning, would say everything that you need to know about that movie without
I know.
having to watch it. I think.
The 3 with the most wins are going to be Titanic, Ben-Hur, and Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Yeah.
But
I know La La Land was tied for the most nominations ever for
Yeah.
14.
yeah, Titanic had 14 noms and won 11, and that's why it's like tops.
That's.
And I think Return of the King won everything it was nominated for. It was nominated for 11.
Oh, really?
So it like batted 100 on 11 nominations.
Yeah. The only thing it's like, is it more worthy of hate that Titanic won 11 Academy Awards, or that the Patriots have won 5 Super Bowls, which is
I think
Six
it's comparable.
6 Super Bowls. I mean, yeah.
Comparable.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
I'd
think
rather
that-
Titanic win
Yeah.
those than be a Dolphins fan and have to look at Brady's stupid face on all these GOAT lists for
Just
the rest
be
of my life.
a normal, like, rational thinking human being and watch the Patriots win all these games.
I thought you were talking about Titanic.
No,
Yeah.
I have strong hatred for the Patriots. The
So
Rusty.
what else was up in '97?
As good as Titanic won, obviously. As Good as It Gets was nominated.
These movies suck.
The Full Monty, Good Will Hunting, and L.A. Confidential.
LA Confidential's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
I like
I
it.
haven't seen it.
You would like it. Well written, well
Mhm.
acted,
People get shot.
Snappy.
snappy, yeah,
Snappy.
witty. Who directed LA Confidential? It's the guy who did. He's done like 2 really good movies and then a bunch of garbage. I forgot what was the other movie that he did. I like Guy Pearce. I think he's underrated. He was in Memento and everything.
Curtis Hanson.
Is it Curtis Hanson? Who wrote it? And what else did he make? But yeah, of all those movies, Good Will Hunting and LA Confidential are definitely better movies than Titanic for me. Than the 3 hours of sappy love story than Titanic was. And I don't even like Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So yes, better than Titanic.
Better than
Right,
Titanic.
Better than Titanic.
But I don't even like Good Will Hunting. So Titanic
That was
also
okay.
lost its because Good Will Hunting is an original screenplay that won Best Original Screenplay.
Mm.
Yeah.
What do you think is more difficult? To have an original screenplay or an adapted screenplay that's really good? Akil.
It's harder to get an original screenplay made.
Yeah.
But what was the question again?
Which one do you think is harder to win?
To win.
To win it?
I thought you meant like to accomplish.
Yeah, or to accomplish. Which one would be a better accomplishment?
Or harder.
Having an original screenplay.
I think
or
original.
Original.
Yeah.
Like to do successfully?
Because adapted.
Okay, basically it's what's harder to do successfully. To produce
thing is-
an original
that's a better question.
screenplay or an adapted one?
A good.
To execute well.
Yeah, to execute well.
I think it's harder to properly adapt something.
Okay.
But at the same time, when you're adapting something, usually you have a studio behind you because a studio needs to have a rights to the thing being adapted.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more money behind it. There's people that are usually when you see adapted screenplays, there's more writers involved. There's screenplay doctors. They might fire a writer, but they'll still get writing credits, and there'll be like 2 more writers that come in and fix the screenplay. So it's easier to have a good adapted screenplay because more people are involved, and you're basing it off obviously a work that's probably already good, and more people are probably going to see it because they're familiar with that work. Whereas an original screenplay, this is part of the reason why a lot of original movies aren't made in Hollywood anymore, because you're taking a risk with original screenplay because it's non-existent, it's new, nobody
That's
knows
why
what it
we
is.
have the reboot industrial complex that we're under right now.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Reboot industrial complex.
Yeah.
I like it.
People, you don't put $200 million behind an original screenplay. That just doesn't happen.
You're right.
You're never gonna see that
Yeah.
unless it's like, no, I can't even think of a director that would get.
Did Charlie Kaufman win for adaptation?
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
I love
I had to watch that
movie.
after class, and I was like, this movie sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people
Oh,
either
I
hate it or
that
love it.
movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that is something I've seen Nicolas
Oh.
Cage in. I thought it was only Valley Girl.
Nicolas Cage has some great movies.
So
Lord of
so
Lord.
you were gonna
Funnily enough, did you know that Nicolas Cage has won Best Actor for Leaving
I
Las
could see it.
Vegas?
Oh, for leaving Las
Oh, I did
Vegas.
see that
Yeah.
movie too.
Of
I
all
was like
people,
9.
of
His
all-
family-
He's been nominated 4 times. But
He's
yeah.
a Coppola.
He's
Yeah.
never won.
Who?
The Coppola family has the most Oscar wins. They're tied for the most Oscar wins within a family.
Who's the other guy?
Francis Ford,
What
Nick
other families
Cage,
against
Sophia
them?
Nick
Coppola.
and Sophia Coppola.
Hmm.
Some family in like I think like the 60s or like really it was like a really old. They did really old movies.
Some
I don't
Hollywood
remember.
Marriage.
Yeah, I think
that
no. I
produced some child.
think it was like the Fords or something like that.
Oh,
Oh.
actually, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was the Fords.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of filmmaking
Or
families.
what's his name? The crazy recluse guy.
The Carradines?
No.
Yeah.
The
Carradines.
the guy that Citizen Kane's making fun of.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name. Why can't I remember his name?
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he became a producer.
He
right?
was. Yeah, he was like that was his big name.
Yeah.
He was the eccentric producer, rich guy
Right.
that died in F for Fake. Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
And
don't
also
think
the
that
James
was-
Bond movie.
don't think Citizen Kane won Best Picture. 1941. I don't think it won.
I don't
It's
think it did. No.
the Fonda family.
Oh, the Fonda.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say
Henry
that makes
Peter,
total sense. Yeah.
Jane.
Yeah.
Henry Peter, Jane.
They have someone named Diane Ladd in their family.
Yeah, I found out Nicolas Cage was related to Francis Ford Coppola,
Mhm.
and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda makes
His
sense.
last name is
Coppola.
Coppola.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Coppola?
Coppola. Yeah.
Coppola.
The
Coppola.
You're trying to do it Italian now?
Yeah. Coppola. Francis
No, it's just
Coppola.
it's Coppola.
Coppola.
I think it's
Ah.
Coppola. Yeah.
Do it. Make him Spanish. Capoya. Capoya.
Coppola con mi corazón.
Capoya?
Capoya.
Capoya.
So apparently
Capoya.
That should be his name now.
Frank Sinatra
It's related to
and-
Francis Ford
no,
Coppola.
he's related to Woody Allen.
Oh,
Well,
Mia
he's not
Mia
related.
Mia
You're
Farrow.
trying
And Mia
to
Farrow.
kill
Or through
him.
Mia
Oh,
Farrow.
okay, they're-
Yeah, you tried to kill him. He's
Oh.
not related to him.
Yeah.
You tried to put a mafia hit on him.
On Woody Allen?
Yeah.
That needs to be a movie.
Yeah, it does.
That
What?
really does need
How
to be
have
a
I
movie.
never
It's not
heard
true.
of this
I'm
story?
I could see that.
A member of the Rat Pack actually wanted to have someone killed?
Or
My heart
drugged
is
at
broken.
the very least. Yeah, he wanted him taken care of.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Spike Jonze is included in the Coppola family because
he is?
he was
Oh,
married
he was
to
married to Sophia.
Sophia. Yeah.
Sophia Coppola.
No.
But
That doesn't really count. That doesn't
at
count.
all.
No.
Well, it did count at the time. I think.
Oh, yeah.
I believe so. I believe it did. And then they got divorced, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of
they
her
made movies about each
I was
other.
about to say, I like Sophia Coppola.
I don't. I like Spike Jonze.
I love Spike Jonze.
Mm.
I like her a lot.
He directed a lot of the Kanye.
I like the music
Yeah,
video
he
for
directed
Flashing
Kanye.
Lights.
Flash
Not the
And
whole
Lights.
thing, one of it.
And he did the movie for Kanye, the
Runaway?
short film, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like.
And they worked
Kanye
together at
West.
the Pornhub Awards.
Oh yeah.
They were the creative
Okay.
directors.
What?
It's like
Really?
you guys
Yeah,
are
Tim and
breaking
Kanye
my
West.
opinion.
That's
They were
where,
creative
that's
directors
where, that's
for the
where
Pornhub
that
Awards.
song came
You
out. I
guys
love
are
it.
deep.
With
Oh, really?
Lil
Yeah.
Pump.
And he directed that movie.
Of Spike
Yeah.
Jonze
I mean, the-
more and more and more. Which
That makes him better.
fast.
This just makes me
No,
go
this
up
is
and
going
up and
down
up.
and down and down. We started at Flashing Lights and then y'all just
Runaway,
destroyed it.
Pornhub Awards.
That Runaway video is beautiful.
It was
Yeah.
okay.
Who's the guy who does the wholesome porno videos?
Oh, like he's like, oh, I'll take you home and lock the door or something, or I clean all the No, do you know what I'm talking about? Or am I talking about-
Yeah,
he's like a redhead dude, and he just
Yeah,
is wearing
he's just like, I tuck you in after you
Yeah.
climax.
or he's just like, I take you home with no intentions whatsoever.
Right,
It's like
exactly,
really pure stuff.
I am your stepbrother and bring you a pizza without my penis
Do you
in
guys-
it.
Exactly.
Do you guys have specific categories
Of what?
at the Oscars that you really
Oh,
like
Swim Dark
anticipate?
Places.
Like as opposed to the big five.
Yeah.
I always
Just like-
care about cinematography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's a big
cinematography, I really love that category.
Yeah,
I love
Cinematography.
costume.
Do you?
I like those people. Like, what's the name of the
Black
woman that
Panther.
The Incredibles is named after? The
Edna Mode.
Edna Mode. That she's like, she talks about like when she just dresses people up regular for costume. In her
Oh wait, the
film.
woman she's based off of? Or
Yeah.
just
No, her name's
person?
Edna Mode. Yeah, that she talks about like she had like this very passionate speech about, and it really put me in this realm of like, wow, costume is like a big deal. That like even when she dresses people up, normally like, this is costume design. And
Oh,
if anything,
Anna Wintour.
Anna Wintour is what?
That's what she's based off of.
Yeah, that's who Edna's based off of.
Yeah,
Anna
Anna
Wintour.
Wintour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
Is
cool
she
with
dead?
Kanye. No,
No,
she's
she's
still
alive,
alive.
and Devil Wears Prada is also based off of her too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks like her.
Yeah.
The whole glasses and short hair thing
Yeah.
and bangs.
I hear about screenplay
She also reminds me of Ray Campbell.
Yeah.
because usually when the Academy,
Tarantino's winning.
well, not even that, when the Academy doesn't want to nominate something for,
They'll give it to the writing.
they'll put you in writing. I Get Out, all the Tarantino movies,
Yeah.
superhero movies. They'll, like Logan, they gave it best screenplay, but they wouldn't give it the best picture nod, which
Do
I
you think?
feel like it deserved a best picture for nod, but that's another story.
Mary Zofres. Is that name familiar to you as a costume person?
No. What is
She's
she
like
doing?
one of my favorites, but she's done like all kinds of. She's done like a few current like Coen Brother and
Oh, then I
Farrell
love
Brothers
her.
movies.
And I
you
love
know,
her already.
And
Because Coen
Yeah.
Brothers' costume is like
yeah,
Anton Chigurh in all black.
yeah.
And correction on the families, it wasn't Ford, it was the Houstons.
The Houstons, John
Yeah,
Houston.
John Houston, Walter Houston, and Angelica Houston.
Angelica Houston.
Then of course the Coen brothers are up there
Because they're brothers.
because they're brothers and McDormand,
Yeah.
Frances McDormand. Did I say her name?
Something
McDormand.
McDormand.
Dormand.
Got a soft spot
Mm.
for her. Because of Fargo.
The Coen Brothers and Denis Villeneuve are like my favorite modern day guys.
Denis
And at least the
Villeneuve is
Academy
so
gives
good.
them love.
Yeah.
Hardly.
Enough.
At least they've won.
Comparison.
At least they've won.
Oh, she did First Man.
Denis deserved way more love.
That First Man has great costume. First Man, the way people dressed, like when I was watching it, I was like, "Damn, that shirt is totally '60s." Like, he's wearing this like yellow like collarless polo, and I was like, "Oh my god, he really is a pilot!" Like, I was like,
What is a collarless polo?
"See this collar right here?
Yeah.
Take it off."
It's called a Henley.
Just the
It's called a
buttons.
Henley.
No,
It's just the buttons.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what makes a polo is the collar, so I'm like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that just be a shirt?
It's a Henley.
It's a Henley. It has like calling it polo would
The
be
intricacy.
calling
Oh,
it
no,
collarless
that's
polo would be
Intricacies of
miscategorized. categorizing it as polo, but that's how I'll describe it. First Man, huge snub. I thought it was good. It should be in for at least VFX.
At least editing. They gave Bohemian Rhapsody best.
I think they just didn't understand what to do about editing this year. I mean, it's so editing's another category that I really love.
Editing is so underrated, man.
Dude,
editing
but
is
so
like
important.
such a art of a film. Like, look at
That's the
Star
final
is Born.
stage of writing.
If you edited A Star Was Born in a different way, it's
It'd be a
not the
different
same movie,
I'm
and
really
it could
sorry.
probably be a worse movie. Part of being a good director is finding out that best
What's
edit.
it called? I think the movie's
Yeah, oh,
called
yeah.
Los Abrazos Rotos. It's by Almodovar, and he talks. I mean, and basically, the dude was a hater, so he switched the reels, so it was the wrong editing. So then, as a result, the film never got the notoriety it deserved. And then 20 years later, they recovered the reels, and then
Oh,
it's
wow.
completely
Damn,
different.
that's
and it's
crazy.
better. Yeah, no, that's what the movie's plot is.
Right.
Yeah. It's a really sick
I
movie.
would have.
Pudovkin said that the entire art of film is editing.
Right.
Yes.
He's one of those media essentialist examples.
Mhm.
Who's like, he's like, he was the example that she
Philosophy
used.
of film.
Yeah,
Wait,
philosophy
me
of
too.
film.
But we
Shout
can.
out to Dr. Elizabeth Scarborough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking her now.
Big ups. Yeah.
And he was like that example.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to one of those media essentialists
Really?
myself. Yeah.
But you
He
aren't
was
one
like
yourself,
editing.
are you?
The problem with film, as we learned, was that it's hard to get what is the essential. To say that editing is over the visual,
Right.
when it's like the visual is literally the most
Film
intimate
should be
part.
thought as in medias, not a medium.
Wow.
Ooh,
Nice.
convergence theory.
That's exactly what it is. There it
Yeah. That was profound. There's a
it's
lot of profundity.
almost
today
like you're
in
a
this
professional.
podcast.
So I like costumes, editing should be up there. Dude, what did Titanic win? How did Titanic win 11? There's no chance it's winning.
It made a lot of money.
It must have won all of the
I could see
sound
costume.
editing,
Yeah.
sound design, song, soundtrack,
VFX.
visual.
I actually
Right.
don't know that
right.
song.
You don't know that song?
No. I'm not that familiar with Titanic because I saw
But
it once and I was like,
I've never even
nothing.
seen Titanic in entirety, and I know.
Yeah,
this
you
song.
see it in chunks, like the last 45 minutes to an hour.
All right, would
I've
Titanic,
I've seen the whole movie, just not at once.
Yeah,
I've
me
seen
too.
like
would Titanic win in 2019?
No.
Would you want Titanic to win in
Actually,
2019?
I think people would still like it.
James
now.
Cameron does not have a movie that deserves Best Picture.
Ouch. I love Terminator 1 and 2.
I've
There
never
are
seen a
only two
Terminator.
Terminators. I'm going to put that out there. I love Terminator
The
1.
only James
No, there's
Cameron
like
I've
five.
seen-
No,
we're gonna
no.
just like no.
Is Dave Cameron the British MP? Yes,
No,
is.
he used to be. It's
yeah,
Theresa
but
May
he's one of
now.
them. Okay, wow. So
He
because
was-
I mix up him and James Cameron a lot.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a lot. No, just because of the names. Like,
Yeah.
I always
Sir
mix up.
Ridley Scott also with these alien
What happened
covenants.
to him?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
What is that?
That's-
My
gotta
heart
catch
will-
Who, Sir
it up
Ridley
on
Scott?
culture. Yeah.
Oh, my heart will go on. Can't you just feel 11 Oscars emanate from this theme?
Okay, I see it.
You see? Yeah. All right.
Doesn't that make you feel like you deserve to be nominated for 14 Academy
Yeah.
Awards?
Yeah, I mean,
No, the
it's
song-
just like this my soul.
Honestly,
this is my soul.
I feel like
That's
that's.
your will. You're just levitating.
Yes.
I feel like that song is probably one of the main reasons that movie kind of like got so much like.
The thing is,
No, I think you're right.
It's an epic song.
you were more alive at the time. We were only.
I was more alive.
So,
Yes, and
more
I,
alive.
today
So
I am
you-
more dead than I
you-
was.
You would know.
You know, what was it? 15 years ago?
Yeah.
20 years ago?
20
When
years
did
ago.
it drop?
20 years ago. Oh, no, I'm definitely. I'm
95,
just like a
97?
cinder of myself.
That movie was also just like a cultural phenomenon.
It was. That's
Everybody
right.
went
That was
to watch
fun.
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Everybody loved it. Every
Yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend watched it at
Yes.
least 4 times.
Yes, yeah. It was yeah.
There's also an interesting thing about Oscar categories are these. I want to call them like double standards or double takes. Like when you get nommed for Best Director and Best Picture, And then, or you get nom for Best Director, but your movie doesn't get Best Picture.
Gravity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Argo, where like Argo wins Best Picture, but Ben Affleck doesn't get Best Director.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or
I feel
La La Land and Moonlight, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Damien Chazelle got
Chazelle
Best
got
Director,
director.
but not Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
And Moonlight?
Moonlight got Best Picture.
Yeah.
That's even crazier to me.
So then-
because
I mean-
Moonlight is a perfectly directed
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
deserves Best Director.
But that's how I feel
Yes.
about 12 Years a Slave over
No,
Gravity.
That's why I kind of feel like the Oscars kind of has this like relegational categories, because even like supporting actors, that's what they like to put their
You were
diversity.
just talking about that in
And
school.
that's
Yeah.
what they do
Yeah.
that.
With what they're doing now, like I think like now it's
Yeah.
really hard to get like sweeps, because I feel like now they want like, oh no, we're giving him this already, so let's
Yeah.
give this person this,
Yeah.
or we're giving him
No.
this or her
And
this.
And that's why
actually
people
my
think that
issue
the-
with the nominations. They feel too intentional.
Exactly.
And that's why
Yeah.
people
Exactly.
hate the Oscars and think that they're not being genuine.
Because in a real world, 12 Years a Slave is winning Best Director and Best Picture.
It didn't win
Exactly.
both of those?
No, Gravity won Best Director.
So there's like, who's really the true artist?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I am in
how do you even
another
like?
world.
Yeah.
What are you
Because
saying
to
with both
me,
of those?
12 Years a
Exactly.
Slave is the better testament of its art is the direction.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a good movie without the direction. I feel like it would have
Yeah.
just been
Because he
another slave
hold-
movie. Honestly,
His composition and his editing, he holds things. for
no,
long.
that
and it, like
that
part
scene,
of the emotion, the movement is just the way it's put together.
the
That's
shot
a
where he's
testament
just
to Stephen
where
King.
what's his name just hanging. He's
Yeah,
like
that's
barely
like the
lynched.
famous super example where he's like barely lynched in this beautiful
my
shot,
God,
and everything's
Shot.
happening in the unfocused background.
Mm-hmm.
he's hanging there for 3
It's like
minutes.
Every single decision in that is on purpose,
Mhm.
down to the second, down to the people working, down to the little shoes in the next shot. It's like, Jesus Christ, how could you not put that guy just for that scene alone?
The scene where what's his name's whipping Lupita's
yeah,
character.
where Fassbender
Oh
is
my
whipping
God.
his character, and it goes on.
It was like so
These scenes are fantastical.
skin crawling,
I
It's-
know.
it's
That's
like-
the
it's
thing,
like-
dude. Fantastical violence is actually something hard to do.
Oh,
and that's why I like Denis Villeneuve, Steve McQueen.
It's hard. It's something hard to do because you.
But it's
can-
also,
Mark
I mean,
Chan-
it's like you know.
the theorist in me weeps.
Because it's
This
hard to be,
conversation.
because it's easy to be like violent. It's easy to be
Tarantino.
violent, but to
Yeah.
Yeah.
be artistically violent, it's like to walk that line.
Mhm.
Prisoners.
Yeah, Prisoners.
Oh my God,
Violence in that movie is
perfect.
But it's the same way for writing and cursing.
Mwah. The violence.
I don't think that
Mm.
movie got nominated for anything.
For Prisoners.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got snubbed. Like I think totally.
yeah.
I don't think it got like anything. That was probably one of the best movies that year. What was that? 2014.
God damn. There's a
At
lot-
least Hugh Jackman. At least Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
should have gotten.
Point being, there's a lot of snubs.
Yeah.
There's a lot better years than now. But I think to wrap it up, let's talk about our favorites of last year.
Mm.
Maybe they were snubbed, maybe they weren't. Mine is definitely going to be a snub. Let's go around.
Go to me last.
Jose,
My favorite of 2018 was Mandy.
Mandy.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna jump on that Mandy bandwagon too. I mean, I
No noms, right?
no nominations. No, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I just
Despicable.
and it's like I didn't expect it to get anything, but you know, it to me, it's that one movie that's like, I mean, it wasn't like a big release.
Dude, I'm already expecting-
but it was something. I was surprised at how well it managed to recreate and also take in a new direction, like genre conventions, you know, and how just like self-aware it was, and yet also it wasn't just pure exploitation, because it's like first half of the movie is just, I mean, it recreates that whole aesthetic of the like 1970s late night movie like so perfectly, and yeah, it's you know, it's not
I already have a
walking.
feeling-
It's not out walking it's not walking an avant-garde ledge, but it's taking kinds of it's pushing film in an unfamiliar direction. I think. What were you
That's
gonna
well
say?
said.
Yeah.
That was very, Daga the intern said, it is very aptly put.
Oh my god.
You have a way with words. Are you an English professional? But I have a feeling that all of our favorites of last year are going to be snubs. I can already see.
Oh, mine's already a snub.
Yeah, so is mine.
Yeah.
So,
Jose, what was it about Mandy that
what was
turned
it
you
about
on?
Andy?
Well, one, I really love Nicolas Cage.
Really?
The second half of this movie is just everything you want.
He's
from Nick Cage.
a great actor.
I don't know if he's a great actor,
No,
but
he has had movies where I've been like,
Really?
he's
Lord of
done
War,
good. He's
Ghost
done good
Rider.
stuff, you know.
Ghost
Rider.
Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Poetic cinema.
I know it's kind of like sacrilegious to be like, Nicolas Cage is a great actor, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So Nick Cage, it's just a fun movie.
yeah.
It's self-aware. It has an idea of what it wants to do, what it wants to be, and
And it executes it perfectly. Yeah.
it's just a good time.
I take it you agree with Jose here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the most professional opinion here is Mandy. Akil?
I like First Reform. That was
First Reform, huge snub.
Yeah.
We already mentioned it a little bit, but even Ethan Hawke's. Like,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I mean
ridiculous.
that's just like that might be the snub of the
First
year.
Reformed is also a really unique movie.
It's true.
And like the conflict in that film is something that is like, it's like real, but it's also vague and tenuous. But it's something we all kind of have to acknowledge.
And I also like how it's like it also feels like a culmination of like all of Paul Schrader's like prominent work.
He was the writer for Taxi Driver.
It's
Taxi
one of
Driver
the
and Raging
smartest movies of the year. I
That's
think,
another
you know,
thing,
I
too.
mean,
Yeah, it's very smart, very
Yeah.
well written.
Yeah.
Is your number 2 going to be Widows? Because we have to talk about Widows. Because Widows is like a. And did you watch it?
I didn't actually see it.
It is
so,
like when you watch it, especially Akil as like a guy who has experience with writing and editing, the balance of that film, and the writing in that film, and
Yeah, it was
to put that ensemble together it's a large setting with a lot of like
Juggling
things
a lot.
happening. It juggles a lot and it does it well. It's adapted and it is snubbed. Snubbed because it's probably action. And you know that the Oscars have their little I don't know why they have their get up with different genres like sci-fi and
Yeah, like I mean, and it's
Hereditary.
like
And
a
horror.
superhero movie makes it, this year.
Yeah, that's why it makes no sense to me.
But
Logan deserved that,
but
actually. for
what's
Best
that?
I didn't like Logan.
I thought Logan deserved Best Picture.
Really?
That was one of the best movies.
I
But Logan was a good
Logan.
movie. Did you see it?
As a
I saw
Western
it.
fan,
I didn't like it
I
that
saw
much.
it. I
You
even saw the monochromatic version of it.
I didn't.
I thought Logan was a really good
I
movie.
didn't like it
I've seen it
because
4 times.
I love Professor
really like
X, and I felt like it was lacking in some exposition
Oh my
there.
god.
So,
I feel like the exposition
Yeah,
was
sure.
good enough.
Everyone
He's
died.
I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it
No, I
because
enjoyed
obviously I went to the theaters to see it twice.
Yeah.
So it's like I thought that it was just like maybe a little overpraised, but
Okay.
maybe I'm just channeling Ethan Hawke here.
I was just going to say, you sound like Ethan Hawke right
But
now.
he's
Yeah.
speaking of that, he was full of shit.
Yeah, he was just a bitter.
Because he didn't know what he was talking about. Because he was like, "Oh, what are people talking about with these people in jumpsuits and blah blah blah." There wasn't a single jumpsuit in Logan.
Right.
Not
So
a
either you
single
didn't
one.
see it or you're just
talking out your ass.
Yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
out your butt, man.
I'm gonna say my favorite. Everybody knows it by now, but it's The House That Jack Built.
Yeah.
The House of Jack.
That movie to me is super controversial. The thing is that The House That Jack Built laughs in the face of the Academy, and it very
Because
specifically does.
He's persona non grata.
Yeah.
It's not in the face of the
But to
Academy.
me-
I think it's in the face of Khan. is
Yeah,
what-
because he's like,
Yeah. In the
Okay,
face of
who
film.
really cares about the Academy when there's Khan?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a big middle finger to them. Definitely.
I thought not only was it a well-made film, but I find it to be a work of art because it meditates on art in a way, in a thought-provoking way.
You like meditations, don't you?
Yeah, and it's through its narrative and what it's showing in this whole serial killer hood is a meta of him talking about the ugliness of
And
art.
he was
And I like
like ahead of the serial killer curve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did it first.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
definitely takes advantage of the whole serial killer thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he pushes it to the to the boundaries in that movie.
Matt Dillon was great in that film too,
Yeah, he was.
and Mr. Sophisticated. That's his serial killer name.
Can I say one spoiler?
No.
I don't know.
It's not a big spoiler.
Okay, spoilers ahead.
All right.
There's a boob cut off.
I'm not watching it.
There's a
Wow.
boob
That's
cut off.
the second thing I've heard
Yeah,
about
if
this
you've
movie.
if you've heard that he kills children in the movie, he
No,
also
but he
cuts.
kills
So
a
he
duckling,
enjoys
doesn't he, too?
mutilating
Well,
women's.
Everything
The
you
thing is
should
that the
not
film
put in the
is
movie,
definitely
he
getting
does.
Yeah.
flack for being misogynistic.
Well,
Of course, because he's a
'Cause he
misogynist.
kills-
because he because he gives picture he like loves like women like mutilating women's like bodies. That's why he's like that's like kind of qualifies as misogynistic. I mean,
It does.
There's even a scene in the movie which I love about it. And it's
and there's
where
a-
he talks about
He
it.
really?
he talks about. That's what's funny
Oh,
about him.
okay,
He's
alright,
like,
alright,
I'm a misogynist. Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
all right.
That's
so fucking
that's what I like about the movie.
He talks
That
about
him
it.
talking to Virgil prior to late.
Okay.
Inferno.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
you know I haven't seen.
I'm gonna
this
stop
yet,
myself.
so
Yeah,
don't spoil.
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna stop myself.
And Dog of the Intern.
Do not call me that. Ever again. I'm so serious. Anyways, I didn't watch a lot of movies last year because I thought cinema was crumbling and disgusting. And there's still things I haven't seen yet.
Not inaccurate.
Yeah, I just look at everything, I'm like, none of this looks good. Even the art of trailer making is just dead. So it makes
Oh,
you
yeah.
think every movie's a Lifetime movie. So I really didn't think Green Book was a consideration because the trailer looked like a feel-good interracial buddy comedy
Right.
for the
And
whole
Beale Street?
family,
Right.
not Oscar stuff.
And Beale
So-
Street.
Okay, so Beale Street, no, that trailer got me. I saw that trailer like 2018,
Yeah, I love
2017.
that trailer.
Yeah, oof, that trailer.
Movie's okay.
So then Beale Street's on there. I liked Annihilation, and there's
Oh,
a-
I forgot about Annihilation.
A24.
but now she's turning into a meme. Like people are starting to rat on A24.
They're not pushing their movies. Like
Yes, they're
for
okay
like
now.
awards. Doesn't seem like they're pushing.
Is the Florida Project 2018?
That's the year before.
And it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
You like the Florida Project?
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
It made me cry. It was gonna make me cry.
Definitely
cry,
biggest
cry
snub.
if it didn't end the way it
Huge
did.
snub.
I understand what you mean by like the poverty porn and also the kind of voyeuristic exploration of that by outside presence, because that also is a critique of Tangerine. Even though I love that movie, watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
Same director, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same director. So then even that last scene's shot on an iPhone because they had to smuggle it into Disney World. If that last scene hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't be here because I would have killed myself. Because that's how sad that shit was. That's an Oscar snub. Even
And
though that's a different year.
I thought Willem Dafoe was terrific.
I love him.
So what's
I
your
love
pick?
him.
Slept
What's your
on.
2018
Underrated actor.
2018 pick, I'll go with Beale Street because it made me cry. And that use of "That's All I Ask" by Nina Simone. Oh, and also Brian. Okay, this is my case. Viola Davis got an Oscar nomination off of 8 Minutes of Doubt. Brian Tyree Henry's scene in Beale Street when he's talking about his experiences in jail for a crime he didn't commit.
It's the best scene in the movie, right?
That was good. So yeah, he deserved a nomination for that. I think he's a phenomenal actor.
There's a lot of good dialogue,
Yeah.
like actual dialogue in that movie.
Yeah.
The writing in that movie, it's well deserved
Yeah.
a best screenplay
Yeah.
nomination because the writing in that
Some
movie is
acting
really good.
nominations.
Yeah. What's her name was really good in it.
Not
Regina
just
King.
Regina, but also Kiki too.
Kiki.
Oh, she's the main character, Tish.
Drake sang about her.
Oh man, I could make 1,000 jokes right now. I'm not going to.
But yeah. So before we go, we should probably talk about our Oscar party and everything else that we're obligated to shoehorn as Dr. Strycharski.
Well, Jose, you wanna introduce the Oscar party? Or you want me to do that?
On a leaving note,
Vibrantly.
Yeah, so February 24th. Don't watch the Oscars at home. Come to FIU MMC campus.
MMC
Watch them at
campus,
home.
GC 140.
GC 140.
Doors open at 7.
Will there be food?
Six. Yeah, seven.
Yeah, doors open at 7.
At 7.
7-ish, yeah.
There will be food.
Yes, there will be
Food,
food.
red carpet,
There will be
games,
blood.
Oscar bingo, prizes,
And us.
and us, and many
You get
others.
to
So
attach faces to the voices.
free and open to the public, sponsored by SGA, right?
CSO.
Funded by
CSO.
CSO, funded by CSO, right? So free and open to the
Yeah.
public. Anyway, we have to do that in the advertisements, right? Yeah. But
So-
anyway, it's the main organizers are the Film Initiative and
Underground.
Sigma Tau Delta, English Honor Society, and of course the Film Studies program. Yeah.
So subscribe to our newsletter. Remember the
Film.fiu.edu.
film.fiu.edu. Our YouTube channel. If you look up FIU Film, you'll find it, where we have more Oscar things because it's that time of the season.
Mhm.
Don't forget the Panther Film Festival. What is the date on that one?
April. Late April.
Yeah,
Late
late
April.
April.
Keep it in your mind.
We got submissions. Keep it in your mind. We'll talk about it more.
And there's still time to be
There's still time.
making your
Submit.
short film for
And
the Panther Film
if you-
Festival. So go to film.fiu.edu and just click on the link for Panther Film Festival.
Don't be afraid to submit anything. Remember, Kubrick and Tarkovsky were jokes in the beginning.
That's right. Exactly.
So yeah.
And one of them died a joke.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Ending on a dark note.
That
Oh,
is not
God.
allowed. Eyes
Yeah.
Wide Shut is valid and good.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So, signing off. I don't think there's much else to remember.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks, which will be
2 weeks from now.
post-Oscars? Yeah, 2 weeks from now. It won't be post Oscars, will it?
Yes, it will
Yeah,
be.
it will be post Oscars.
Yeah. Wait.
So,
Wait, are we recording
No.
post Oscars or?
We
yeah.
should.
We will record post Oscars so we can complain.
This will
Well,
be
We have
right.
to
This will be
rise
right
from the
before
embers.
Oscars.
Yeah,
Okay.
this will be right before. So
24th is the Oscars.
Oh, that's not after.
Yeah,
Oscars.
2 weeks is the 20th.
okay.
Yeah.
That's like slightly before the Oscars. That's
Yeah.
Rihanna's birthday or Kurt Cobain's. I'm not sure. It's one of the
You know these things?
What?
The Kurt Cobain on accident, Rihanna on purpose, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What, you went to the Rihanna page
No,
for
I
February
just-
24th, and then you saw Kurt Cobain, and now
No,
you
I
went-
just like
the 24th
Rihanna.
or the 20th?
The 20th.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
that's-
19th.
Well, you know whose
Do I stop?
birthday is
Never mind.
the February 20th?
Who?
My son, Phil Strycharski.
Oh, the second of his name.
So, yeah. We will see you after the Oscars, after our newsletter. Oh, we will see you right before the Oscars, and
And we will not mention it once.
we will not mention it because we've done enough.
Yeah.
All right, signing off.